Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, any Sawa na in the world. We don't count on again. This is not the voice of Sierra Leone. VOS on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Periscope with a broadcast live with a Canto Una with another edition of social media review. As always, I get my co-host there with me, Mr. Mohammed Shilon, a lawyer, defense attorney for over 40 years. We're based in North Carolina. And also we honorary professor, Professor Kutubu Koroma, when we the VOS people them honor with that professorship because he know a lot of stuff, a lot of knowledge about the history of Salone, the government of Salone, the politics of Sierra Leone. Also today we can talk on issue them were really important. We get with we some family them where I go make Kutubu introduce in a little bit, where then they can talk on the land issue, they get problem with the SLRA when a Sierra Leone Roads Authority, and also where they be list the land, where they be one bills from 2011, they get problem with this land. We don't see say in many cases for the past couple of years we get land problem in Sierra Leone, we get land issue. Waiting a land are part of who you are, land are part of your identity, land are part of your culture, land are thing where they pass from the generation to generation, where people they don't work, they acquire wealth, they acquire land, now they identify them to that part day of the world, say na ya a day, na me on this, me a part of this. And we don't get that land issue there. We see people that don't die. We see people that don't get shot live. We see the last one at Hastings where a young guy gets shot live in front of the all eye. We see on social media. So then family are then they fight for the land, then they try back forget the land. And the too many bureaucracies and the too many obstacles that we can't tell with their story and we go waiting them. So with no further ado, then also we get for talk about this corona. Where we done, we go give the first 1 hour. We go talk on this land issue. We guess them. Then go introduce themselves. Then we go ask questions. Then go tell we waiting at the issue and waiting at the things. Say they once they land back, now least them be listen to the government. Where the Chinese company, when China Railroad Seventh Group. Then become say they want to build the road, then we get contract for build road along the Hamilton from Wilkinson Road go that new road where they build, they want to use the land for little able Brookstone and whatever, and they be list them una go read the story. Also again we'll see this video will come out on social media where the NACOVAC head can talk say we get for take the vaccine power by force, everybody for take the vaccine before they go inside a building. All man get your opinion. We don't see the craziness where they go on social media or that. We also see another video from the Food Health Organization where people then they talk say the angry Bokuna Salone, people then they suffer, people they angry. Then they want the women don't use for cook one dozen cup rest, now the 9 cup rest, 8 cup rest, then they cook because they not get the money for buy the commodities. We go rub more on that day. So I'll pass on to me co-host them, Mr. Shilon first, and then we'll pass on to Mr. Kutubu. Let una self tell the people they are do then Kutubu, you go set the stage for the guests, you go tell the story about the guests, then we go for the interview, then we go begin talk but the issue. So I pass them back to Una. So share, pass it to your friends. Una share because the more people that come, this is a conversation. We go open the phone lines. If you have your opinion, if you have your experience, you guys share that with them. We all come, we all go in at the same page. Let everybody happy for no push Salone go before. So back to you, Mr. Shilon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever in the world you day. Thank you very much for taking the time for listening to we. As usual, we greatly appreciate our participation, and also we know say this is what we call participatory program, meaning it's live, so you can call anytime and pose questions. So as time goes on, as the program progresses, we'll go try for giving at the various numbers then for call, just in case you get any contribution for make, or any suggestions, or any objection, or any criticism. So that's why we're here, and the spirit of the program. As long as we have mutual respect, callers should have mutual respect for guests and hosts, and the host will do likewise, I think then we're all on good footing and we can proceed. So thank you very much. I hope at the end of the day or at the end of the program, we'll go they'll learn more than we know before the program starts. Thank you.
Kutubu.
Professor is muted.
End fruitful discussion. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll not be the Yagi professor, it'll be muted. A mute from the waiting and call. So we get them familiar with we. We want let una tell what people they are do, una go introduce una self, and then we go make just tell we a small bit about self. And also we get other people they wait for join with from Freetown, but then they get difficulty right now for join the line. So we guess them. I go give una just one minute long introduce una self. Then Kutubu go lay the case before the people. Then we go continue. So so we guess them. Now they hear me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Fadima, and Mr. Kutubu and Mr. Shilona. Mina, Mr. Bokari Boli, at the side now, Maryland, the United States, and me and my wife we're going to introduce himself later on. We tell thank you for bringing this out. Now the social media for low get attention to the appropriate authorities then, so that they go act, and the return we land them back to we. I will pass on to my wife, and we will come out with the details as we go along.
So, Mina Brenda Boli, as my husband say, we get this issue about land grabbing, and the main point now about the Hamilton Quarry, specifically the Hamilton Quarry, where SLRA and Ministry of Lands then release the land and a vast area of land, about almost 70 acres, give the China Railway 7th Group for use as quarry for do the Peninsula Road from 2010. So we're not able to build na the land. Now about over 20 families that involved. So they try for make them return the land to we, because the Chinese then don't accommodate from 2019, but still we they go back and forth. Where we go SLRA say for go Ministry of Lands, so we go Ministry of Lands, then say go SLRA. So we decide say we they take to the media, the issue to the media, and other people way involved. Some of them not be able to join, but some they try for join right now from Freetown. I don't know if they go still able to join.
So yeah, they go able to join once they come in. They will show up on the screen. Professor, so we know say a bunch of people them, including we guess them, the Boli them, then go to you say this is the case, this is their frustration. Can you just give the people them a brief account on what they can talk on, so that we will continue? Pass it on to you so that we will continue this conversation, please. Let we try to solve this issue.
We can't talk generally about land business as SALONE. We actually don't reach crisis level. Actually, everybody they complain about land. Everybody, one way or the other. We don't know if that is namely that all between the surveyor demo, the lawyer demo, the judge demo, or everybody. Somehow down the road, we believe say this is not a crisis point. And then, as you know, from time to time, I will not deal with the matters there. People and they send a complaint to me. If I don't even open the whole section, I mean, probably program you just understand it. So when actually government we talk this every of this issue, so nothing we again group of people there. But the bottom line is so they want the land back, and I don't follow what them they do. The steps that they don't take so far. We said all the communications then, and I don't even communicate with the minister on this issue. So with that, hopefully they will now today give me a real insight as to how they come about this land, how in fact, they be able to lease out to people there, and why, the contract when they get for the land has not been ordered. Hopefully, with waiting to come out here. So last week, one of the cases where they get, the president insisted on hand over the documents to one fellow in London. Thank you. In fact, send that to them for the next year. So it's unfortunate that we get for the kind of social media for the talk about it. So what's today? So we will recommend it to be a solution to it here. So back to you guys.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me give Mr. and Mrs. Bolly the chance for letting them explain to we, because like I said before, this land in 20, because then they do them all over the world. If you get a land, the government want use them for develop, then can come to the owner then say, we want list on a land, we want make on a land, on a let we use on a land, then we go on a back. It was just a temporary thing. And now this temporary thing don't become frustration. So explain to the people there exactly, because I know say you say in 2011 when everyone begin this road construction along on a piece of land them, forget stone them when at the quarry area, because on a land they get a lot of rocks. So they want use for let them develop, then go able for build this road where everybody go able for use. We're gonna make the country, come infrastructure wise we dey on top. So una the family they una agree for give the government. So una take we through how this process been go on, because some people then go there now when they listen to we will say, okay, wait a minute, me say bye bye, I go afraid tomorrow, I not go afraid tomorrow, waiting been go on, because I know say them for give compensation and all that thing. So I pass on to you first, Mr. Let you begin the conversation. Let you explain to we, then we will give you have go pick them up where you don't do 2-3 minutes. Then instead pick them up, explain to we the rest of the story. Let we really get let the people that where they listen get this thing here. So I pass on to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Fadima. In 2008, we've been purchased 6 town lot for Dr. Beresford Jones and his wife, when I've been the rightful owners, the lawful owners of the land Hamilton. So while we're in the process of doing the conveyance and sign all the papers, then in 2010, now we get information that the Chinese and SLRA want that land there for putting inquiry. But we not been the town at that point in time. So Dr. Jones been signed since now he been the original owner of the land. He presenting documents them while Ministry of Lands where SLRA been asked for do the survey so that they go get plot the land, get everybody in land and in name, so that when they go ready for return and back, now that survey they then go to, so that they go apportion everybody in rightful land back, give them. So we not been there in town. So Dr. Jones now been signed as on we behalf as Mr. Kutubu get the people that we've been signed, 20 families that been signed. So, but the land they been leased, according to which we get the information we then signed was for 2 to 5 years. But then after that period of time, we don't know if they may renegotiate because we know the town, or how they prolong this till 2019. During that period, we understand that a couple of families them in Gefok take the Chinese them to court for let them put injunction, for let them return their land back. But that was individual families then. But now the 20 family the way get this land here, we've been signed with SLRA, come out now say they want their land back. Now we don't begin to go to SLRA for see how they get for return this land. Since when they list this land, we were made to understand that they is supposed for the pay compensation to the people that we own this land here. But then we were made to understand that now one-time payment they ever do based on the amount of land where you get was, I think, $100, and that was it. We don't know how that deal went down, but that's another topic for another day. But we begin go SLRA. We talk with Mr. French, Vandy French. We talk with Samuel Lewis. We meet with CD Jawara. We meet with the asset management director, who is Peter Comer. On this issue here, they asked me, in fact, Vandy French been asked me in 2019 that they get for meet in 2020 with the lawyers then for return the land. So we for write a letter and attach all the documents them and left with them, which we did. But then from then 2019, we begin to call Samuel Luis almost on a bi-weekly basis. He go acknowledge, say, we will not meet with them. People are here to get back to owner. Until when we go back, we go town in 2020, we begin back again with SLRA. We went there, Peter Come. In fact, what we find amazing was that they not be even get copy of the survey where them in do. Now landowners then begin, they pull copies of their own now, they give them. In fact, Peter Come say, well, indeterminate for law get we land back. But ever since we come up from SLRA, we they go lands, we they come up SLRA, we they go lands. In fact, me on me own somebody who I go through, make a meet with the director of lands. We've been happy for be the surveyor at that time. We've been survey the land before SLRA listen. So Intel be saying that in do the survey and that in go give you a copy of them. Now tell us, I said, but we don't go to this land there. We don't see policemen and they even stop we not for going to this place here. He admitted to me that now he authorized because somebody call and say land grabbers then they go to this land there. So therefore he asks police them for go guard this land. So now I tell us, I say, but how come we want this master plan where you get, he said, Ingo producer, he gave me 3 appointments. The first one I meet with and the second one in all honor. The third one, I go na Ministry of Lands as he don't date until when he ready for go home. Now on the way down, if I'm at the step, he begin talk with me where he tell me, say, well, Ministry of Lands not get nothing for do with this. Now SLRA, and I say, but why you know say Ministry of Lands not get nothing for do with this land? Why you authorize policemen and for go then at this land there? And you not tell SLRA say, now this you don't do land grabbers there, which means say you self get interest in this land for go station policeman and they. So, but anyway, to cut long story short, SLRA be make meeting for me to the minister. In fact, me and Peter Come when at the asset director, we go now Ministry of Lands, but then he played the game with me. He left me sit down at the secretary in office. He and the permanent secretary go inside to the minister. They were there for about 45 minutes. Whatever was discussed, I was not privy to. But then on their way out, now he just turned to the minister, say, oh, now one of the landowners and then why? So we walk down the stairs where they tell me, say, oh, Mr. Bolly, no worry, we will take care of this one. In fact, I don't make another meeting for all the land people then can, which took place on May the 4th. In fact, maybe not left SALONE that 10 day now, I come back. But me with him left just basically for this land issue, yeah. So Ingo pick him up from the meeting we then get from May the 4th and walk on down all waiting the minister be asked them for do.
Okay, so Madam Brenda, you don't hear what you man say, pick her up from that 10 day. When in don't left you now on a free tone, in don't come back. Waiting past now again, or I don't talk to the minister don't tell you say they go give, but then they don't say you don't get an padande, they don't give for the SLRA the return on a land. So go from there, ma. Let you explain.
Actually, not to the minister say in get hands na the director Tamba Dauda. Now okay, say in hands of lands. Yeah, okay, Tamba Dauda. Okay. Yeah. So on May 4th, Peter Come. When all the SLRA people, them Peter Come, CD Jawara, Samuel Luis, Amara Kane,
yeah,
they all meet. We them schedule a meeting on May 4th for all the landowners, them, the legitimate landowners, them meet with the minister. And it was a big meeting because the minister Bindede, the permanent secretary Tamba Dauda, inside Bindede, in fact, been sitting right next to me. And during the meeting, the minister asked, waiting at the issue, waiting at the hold up for let them return the land to we. Now the SLRA people and say, well, then them not be meet with the Chinese there yet for let them officially hand over the land to SLRA so that then go ahead and hand over the land back to all the landowners them. So then I tell the minister, I say, right now we go na the land day, land grabbers then they put structures. I even show him pictures them from my phone. I give him my phone. He look through the videos them and the pictures them, and he see say people then don't go begin put structure there. So now he say, well, he not be know about this. because if that's be the case, let them just let SLRA just turn over the land. So we now say no. I say because when SLRA been they lease the land from we, the landowners them, no encroachers not been there. We in fact we been there ready for begin build that, and then we go for go put fence. We be not go for go put fence. So I say no encroachers they not been there. I say therefore now una get rid of the land, the encroachers them before una turn over the land into we. So now he asked Peter Come. He said, "Is this true?" Now Peter Come say yes. Now he said, "We're waiting at the hold up." So una need for go back to the Chinese them, then get for put the land back. So because I've been the arrangements that when they finish the quarry, for make the Chinese them backfill the land, the entire vast area of land, and then for go there with SLRA, Ministry of Lands, and put them back to waiting Ibinde so that they go cut the land then for give everybody their land back. So the minister tell SLRA say now the timeline this way wants. He say on May 8th, he wants for let SLRA and lands people and go na the site, which they did because then call me from the site on that Saturday, say then they na the land. Then he say he wants a report on in desk on their findings by May 12th. And then they schedule another meeting on the 19th. We go include we always been there plus the encroachers them. It's because he wants the encroachers them for day for make an explicitly clear to them say they need for demolish them structures because they not get no rights for building because the land still they under lease with SLRA. So the 19th come and go, nothing. Since that time, we were in constant communication with SLRA and Ministry of Lands. In fact, my husband sent a text message after several text messages to Tamba Dauda, the Director of Lands. I want to read in response to my husband in text. He said, "Hello, Mr. Oli, you have to get this right. Stop involving the Ministry of Lands in all of this. The land in question, as you all know, is a private property owned by individuals. Where there is a trespass on any private property, the owner has all the right to resort to the courts. And in this case, it was the former regime that took your property to be used as a borrow pit for the construction of the Lumley-Toke Road without making any thorough arrangements. Please note that the Ministry of Lands was not involved in that arrangement when the SLRA entered into agreement with the private individuals that claimed to own those lands. The ministry was not involved in ascertaining who owns what, and it was only when these individuals became hostile to the Chinese that the Ministry of Lands was contacted to do a report for compensation to claimant, which we did. The land leased to the Chinese from private individuals should have been protected from encroachers by the Chinese or SLRA from the beginning until such time when it will be ceremoniously handed over to the landowners after recovering the degradation or damages caused by the quarrying activities, which is yet to be done. It was against this backdrop that the MLHCP had always requested that privately acquired lands by MDAs should be done through the MLHCP. So in the try for we now say
that is the response. So Miss Brenda, let me come in for a second. That is the response from the Director of Lands. Now, in the say they're not involved, not been former, but yet they are the government. They are the present government.
Right. And
government contract, Mr. Shillon. I know say we don't get the next landowner don't come. But Mr. Shillon, as a lawyer, this quick before we bring in Mr. Sako. Before we bring in Mr. Sako, which is another landowner, you don't hear you waiting, Madam Brenda, don't read. This is the Director of Lands
Yes.
in Sierra Leone, of Minister of
Yeah.
Land, the Ministry of Lands. And this is the response he say. This was your contract with former. Okay. I mean, it kind of disturbing a little bit, Mr. Shillon. As a lawyer, sir, bring your expertise into this. As a lawyer, if you go here, read this, somebody tell you this, a citizen, we trust the government, we give the government for development, and then the new government in power, the new minister, don't become able to do what he for do. This is the answer where he sent to the people then. What do you think, sir?
Well, the letter is disturbing at every level in the sense that, number one, a basic understanding among all of us that the existing government or the present government, whatever it does in the name of the country or of the government, binds any succeeding government will follow. So, I mean, from a legal standpoint, it is immaterial or it's unimportant that the previous government do that because it binds the current government. Unless they can go to court, the court can declare the agreements there or contract for say it was null and void, it is still binding on the current government, number one. Number two, there are a lot of questions I'm just concerned about, which will take me in a different direction. First of all, the NLRA, then they say the Ministry of Lands, not to them. I mean, the Ministry of Lands say the NLRA and the Chinese people them and the private citizen them. Now, may I ask this question? Because I don't know the answer. Is NLRA a ministry of? I'm sorry, SLRA,
Sierra Leone
Sierra Leone Roads Authority.
Yeah. Is SLRA a ministry by itself or is it an arm of a ministry like the Ministry of Transportation or the Ministry of Lands? It has to belong to one of the ministries.
Ministry of
So which
Transportation.
I
ministry
think
does
it
it
falls under Ministry of Transportation. I'm not, or
That's
Works,
what-
one of those two.
Yeah, but they make it sound as if the SLRA is a ministry all by itself, that no ministry is responsible. The trouble, the infrastructure, not the problem. Ordinarily, in most places, when private citizens them engage in an agreement with a company of the nature of the Chinese company, first of all, the other question I want to ask, would that not the lawyer that will negotiate on behalf of the Chinese? That be the government or not the Chinese, then your private lawyer? Do you know?
Well, from Mr. Luis, one of the people in our SLRA, in military, we say, then get the lawyers the way they handle this. So I believe saying that the lawyer they negotiate on behalf of SLRA and the Chinese them, or on behalf of them with the landowners them. We don't know who that are the lawyers there.
Okay, because one of the landowner them, although one probably not to the one who was signed, the previous owner, because there should have been a clear or clearly established agreement signed by everybody. Everybody get a copy as to who is responsible, who is negotiating with whom. Instead of now everything gets confusing because first of all, if then they try for use on a property for public interest, the government, then the government of the Chinese company come and say, would they negotiate? That list in there for specify the time, the purpose, and it should be agreed upon. And when I will get the land, should have the option of not agreeing and objecting and going to court. What you mean to see in Sierra Leone now the fact that the courts not get any power. So now when I want to land back, you get encroachers them, waiting on the land. There is no actual legal means of getting them out unless when I go through political action, such as going directly to the minister. But the minister then try to put infrastructure in place, it seems to me, and then try for shift some of them diversionary actions there back to the court. Because if you're a minister, you don't want to be dealing with land dispute day after day after day. Mm-hmm. You know, the law should be so clearly established that people should be able to have access to court. And the citizens themselves need to begin to come together like we're seeing, come pulling our resources together and take the matter to court. Although the court itself not get much enforcement power, the thing will look bad all over. So they really need for restructure the system. The land grabbing is getting worse. The people who are the victim of land grabbing are not the wealthy, are not the powerful. Now the ordinary people and we get the land. Now they're not getting the protection. So the one that way they in power, then they connive with the one that with the grab, then displace the owners them, and the owners are not get the means for hire lawyers them for go to court and challenge some of them who's there. So it's a bad situation. But in response to Ms. Fadima, clearly, very clearly, this is not the way it should work. This is not the way it should happen.
So let me give, I mean, that's troubling. That's very, very troubling. To even the layman, we not even get law degree, we not even get legal mind. It don't make sense. But let me bring Mr. Sako in. Mr. Sako, they based in Freetown. And in a one of the victims of this land, in a one of the people them where right now they in draw, where they be mean well for help the government. They be mean well for help the people, for develop the infrastructure of the country. They be meanwhile, the government at that time go to them. Now they having problem. 10, 11 years later, they still depend to go for the land where they being hand over and peacefully with the understanding say for only a few years we need on a land for develop this road. We go give on back and we meet them because I know say usa within a member then be want me yadwa they then get some pole way pass over there, they want to use the company, then can't we, then say they want to use we land, then broke we fence them. When they don't them bill everything back, they even give we check for compensatory for going through our land, and then fix everything back. You know, even say once they done the work, they hand over. Mr. Sakosa, tell we people them I do, and then you tell we people small thing.
If I can talk now.
What's your own situation inside this land business here? Where they talk about so?
Yeah, well, like you know, Brenda, I don't go far from the court with the Chinese. They're doing the child and the court been no issue injunction in my favor for the lawyer and the surveyor goes to land. I call me say the Chinese and don't copy your land. I've been there about 1 month. I don't build me image surely. They come there, IG people and tell me they say they don't carry out IGO. And the 2 days after that, they come decide for law continue work. Now they call me, but they say to OSG they don't carry the land. So I go check what they can do, and I ask a symptom what they can do because this is not for me. And I get that land, and I get all the doctor. Then they say, well, then they for come stop for work because conflict in the land. I say, well, me right now, me know get the proper document for me. Now they will not. Me know the commander and the team. Now they begin they shout for me. Would that be me? Why they come talk to fear with the work? So they be dictate me. Tell me gonna OSD headquarters and Bengal. Send me a Lovely police station. Olagogi statements. So then and we've been this Charlie Conte here. If you don't tell me gonna Lovely police station, say I get the get documents. You understand? So when they call them, bring your own document there. If they come up with 2020 documents, me get document 2008. You understand? Even the people in the investigator and they say, but this lady did not get right to you get document for this. Simply because he get back, he think the police they back him. I don't know from which side would they RPG, would they because the last Monday, Saturday, me that go there when I Emerson Camara, you know, instead they part of this government. So he go there for go meet the university what they did. Would I put you on they're not able to answer. They bend because they're not there. You understand? So after that day, now go meet the land. Now I ask them, who are they from? I've been sending the video set to Brenda. And they say, well, then from Charlie Conte, then buy the land. You understand? Then after that day, now the last Monday, now we see me and Amasin. We explain to the minister what they go on the line. And the minister tell us openly, say this lady is a criminal. This Charlie Conte is a criminal. Then get for the to the division where way the government is set for this land issue, meet the chief, the policeman, the superintendent. He said the next day, which was Tuesday, now go to visit the land. Again, of all land, the picture, the video, go to the land. They go to all the people over there, they say, as Monday, this people all bring documents now headquarters for proof the special. You understand? But then I call them back from Wednesday, Thursday, because the people are not coming, they're not sure put the document dates, you understand? So me believe say they're not the documents. Because this lady with the question this shall content, you not get any number for that land. They just they use if connection. They want to put people when they help them do what they do so. But by right, you know, so I go there, just they put iron rod where they plot the land and put cement. They just pour cement, they cut the land. Me on land, they don't do all. You know, I don't know about the other part of the land. You don't almost sell everything. You don't plot everything. So now the CID and let them care them, let them stop work. So I called the CID yesterday. It's Monday. If you know, you then go call me. Watching them don't decide. You understand? We not the wait for the from the minister back. Let me tell them. So now we just have to engage the ministry. SLRA work with this Sumaya. Understand? They're not the minister now go for engage the ministry. I believe so now the only way that they will solve the problem. You understand? So now they may get for continue.
Yeah. So Mr. Sako, you say this land they on the list right now because they not release SLRA not release on a land. But yet during that process, the last 11 years, people that they sell you own part of the land, then they almost sell and done. How then they get this for sale? When Ministry of Lands, now they get for go survey, now they get for write the paper, now they get for certify the land. Because if you they buy land outside within all the system they in place. Where before you go, you get for go to the title. The title get for clear the title. Say the title clean before they sell the land. And I know say long time ago we've been getting thing and they because it look like say you don't leave small bits in the world. They been get them thing and they where they walk right. Before you go, you get them surveillance, this, that, when before we not gonna get them problem here too much long time. Waiting how they manage for sell the land, waiting at how then they sell land where on a land they under SLRA in Kia right now, they not release the land back to una yet. I don't understand. Help we understand, sir.
Well, some people away, then they try for bypass the system. But I believe say we just get to apply pressure and because we don't carry so they say land 9 better. But we don't carry survey about 2-3 weeks ago. They don't go survey. Because for let release in finding not do I believe say compromise them. Try for question on why they delay this report. You understand? I can't to me now they work on them so because I believe say they don't see say na me get the land, so then they try for delay and people build at the place. You understand? So now that they do. They don't say
Can I say
that woman, but you know say this country once they church on side and they give money and they try and they have this.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Or may
Go
I say
ahead.
Well, even under the existing laws of Sierra Leone, you cannot, land law is quite different from personal property. If you get car, you get chair, you get table, you can sell it without proof of title most times. Land is completely different. The laws in Sierra Leone, you get legitimate title to that land they wouldn't call deed, or back yonder they call a conveyance. And you for sure a chain of title.
Me, I get conveyance, everything. I get conveyance. To effect.
Let me make the point where I want to make.
Yes, sir.
Even
Yes,
though then say some people, you cannot sell land where you not get a clear chain of title. So when they say somebody does sell land will not belong to them, by law enough will happen. You can't sell something to you own. If you sell them, the person will buy them. In law, they get the principle and call caveat emptor. Let the buyer be aware. If you go buy land, we do not transfer proper title to you. Now you take the risk, you for lost your money.
Yeah.
The problem with Sierra Leone, and they go continue unless we not like a disease. If you keep dealing with the effect and not the cause, the sickness will continue to be recurring because we not to deal with the cause of it. The cause in Sierra Leone, now the impotence of the legal system. Because like what Mr. Sarkodis describes so, not to CID for even try to stop them people here. Mr. Sarkodis will be able to go to court, in lawyer for be able to obtain immediately an injunction. What is an injunction? It to stop any activity that has resulted in dispute between two parties without even looking at the merit. One person goes to court, he says, I want the court to interfere because something is being done that is unfair and it will hurt me. The court say, okay, hold off. I want this case for come before this court 1 week from now, 2 weeks from now. Let we understand the merit of the case. That aspect then I don't miss in Sierra Leone now. So nobody is able to go to court. It look for say, even though the law gives what you call injunctive relief, but the court not seem to get enforcement action. So even this woman where they sell them property here, she is not passing proper title. And what is so difficult for Parliament for just pass law and make it criminal? If you sell land, what do you get? You go end up with some prison time if it is proven that fraudulent conveyance you do. What Parliament can solve the problem very easily. This is something we've been going through for 50 or more years. It's not another stop. It's getting worse. You see, so you get for link imprisonment with deliberate fraudulent behavior, which has become a way of life now. Now you get in Sierra Leone, you get people like this.
That's right.
Like the woman who Sankodos described. You get him, you get people in the police, you even get judges who sign false order for enforce their fraudulent activities there. And unless people are
I just want to add something. This lady what they in question. So now a man wanna Ibrahim Conte. Now this land give me. Yesterday, one of the guy that
I think we don't lost
one don't care. He said this lady here, the money win at the land. So don't care, don't go to CID, don't tell them. That lady they not trying to get that land though. It tell I said now we be get the land, now we sell and give them people. Like, oh, that guy back to me back and call a come from upline. In the right now, and in the to the CID, look, this Umaya, don't go meet this woman. If you don't tell you, what did they do to them people here? It's wrong. Shame this land, give them people here. Why they come back and turn back, try to take this land? You say, they're not right. So right now, even that marker right now, I get that band number Bangura to testify this land. Now, then go meet. I'm able to do all the documents.
Baba, we can come in.
Able to transact the
Mr. Saka, hold on a second. Let me bring Mr. Brenda and Mr. Bokari in. And also Mr. Bokari wants to say something. Okay. Because the question is, what can citizens do? Because we hear one part with sister there on Facebook here, they say he want the number to VOS for Lego calling. I guess we don't pin the number down there on the thread. You can look at the number to call is there. I want to join the conversation because they say we need land reform bills. We need bill. Parliaments get for doing your
very urgently, very serious.
We talk about the lawyers are involved, the police are involved, this school,
the ministry too.
So I bring you in. Yeah, let me bring you in.
It's a syndicate.
Mr. Shilon,
a syndicate that they run.
Just for buttress waiting, Mr. Shilon, they say, I think say even the registrar general in office where they're supposed to do thorough title search as Mr. Shilon may they say, you get forget that trend they would have buy and would have been passed on to this person and go down the line. Where we find out, say, like waiting Baba said, this woman at 2020 he get. But waiting again, I find disturbing is that this now SLRA, now in list this land, there should be no dispute. This is like an open and short case. But there is no follow-up. I don't know how them people where they operate, that there was no due diligence for follow-up with waiting they go on at this land year by year when the Chinese then did it, and alert the landowners them. There should be a timetable that, hey, the Chinese and they left here in 2019. At this point in time, we want the landowners therefore come back where we sign with, so that we'll begin to go through the process. If there was proper supervision and oversight on waiting they go on. But then here we are, I mean, I due respect to the president in office and to we footballers them. These not entertainers then, but the president give orders that he go give them land. Within couple of weeks, land on plots then land here. They are being given to these people. Here we are with legal paper the way we everybody when they can't take and from we for return we own land. Nobody seems to care about us. I just can't understand what's going on. So now a cabal of people.
Well, along that line, they
Yeah. Go ahead, sir. Yeah. Okay, let me take a call. We get a call on the line where I think you want voice your opinion because at maybe caller, good evening. What's your name? Who say you call from?
Oh, I mean, one of them people that were named Patience when my husband get involved with that land. Na Hamilton.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
This Patience, Patience.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead,
ma'am. We get involved with that land day. And then, in fact, I just look at the documents, all the things they want to talk about. The question they ask, the answer is all these 20 landowners, members where they listen, their name are listed in land surmise. I saw it when we went there 2 months ago. It's in the computer. There is no doubt about it. Okay, I saw it when we went to Freetown 2 months ago. So my take is, what is the problem of the government? Meaning the governments are the blame. Just like how I put on the blogs just now. They have Sierra Leoneans when they listen to this program today have to have immediate land reform because it's a syndicate. Mr. VOS audience, let me tell you guys something. These people gave us the go around. We went to SLRA when I road transport place yonder. We went to CID in Lumley. They said to give a statement. Mr. Shilon, how you they do the distant patients? Then tell we forgot this statement, audience. We gave the statement. They refused to give us a copy, not even the file number. Nobody directed us the car, Mr. Shilon, they said to the court. Sierra Leoneans, everybody in Sierra Leone for put pressure on the government, let there be land reform. This is the only way this problem here they solve, Mr. Kutubu. And after I make me audio, I put on a social media, over 60 people and don't call me.
They need a serious.
And they condemn. It's deliberate. Hey, the policeman they know, the landowners they know, Ministry of Housing and Country Planning they know who is surveying this land, just like how the host they say. This is what is the problem. Yeah. These people have a VOS audience. They have legal papers. For the one that way Brenda and the rest of them sell them, I don't know about them. SLRA not deny say these people didn't sell lease this land to them. But what is the problem, Mr. Kutubu Kroma and Mr. Shilon and everybody waiting at the panel? It's the government. Me not they like you now. Does people know something about this land business? Women, they man say don't put sansana at the mouth. They don't know what to do with it. And I'm very disappointed in this government here. I know they like you now. Okay? We did and everything.
Madam Patient.
And that's my take. Yes.
Madam Patient, I get a question for you, ma. I know something one of the voice them waking speak for this government, but now you don't come out, you condemn them, say this waiting and they do so. I mean, you blame them for Dandy. What do you want to say to them for this land? And also, you don't make audio, but on the platform of VOS, as a person, as a victim of waiting the go and all that, you know, it's frustrating because the land is your identity. The land is your thing that where it connects you to your roots, and that's why you acquired land there. Say, I was here for pass and down to your generation, where you go left legacy and all that part of the history. And now then they turn una for una your legal property, and then people them they encroach and just bonically they take an now and then the government's not they do nothing. What do you want to say today to the government? Because we know say all them video they go to them. What do you want to tell them? Because I know you're all frustrated. I know all the other families them where they them frustrated. They don't go to the court's not a work for them. They don't go to police. Like Mr. Shilon say, they don't need for go to police. When somebody take you property in a court, you go
punish the
you
people
go
involved.
find legal waiting and call court go here. But the judiciary again is just not working the way it's supposed to work. What do you get for say to the government today? Because you say it is you blaming them. What do you say to them? Waiting at the what way you go say because una need to land them.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ms. Fatima. I really appreciate this program here. So the take when you get first of all points of correction, me as Sierra Leonean force. I love Salone. Then I have faith in President Bio before even at the day on the side of the government. Then I get for correct to Salone people them. The one that way they follow me defense on the government. I am a fear person. But for answer your question, I know say when I not get time. The government have disappointed me when it comes to this land grabbing business because I was in Freetown and they know exactly what I be. And half of my time, Miss Fadima, we get for change with tickets that cost me $400 for this land business. Then Dabarui. I am very disappointed in them. President Bio and government for be ashamed for treat me man that way they. And they talk to the whole Sierra Leoneans them. I am very disappointed. We spend 1 week in a salon. You wanna know this country where it risk me job for then at that Freetown day. They not solve that land problem. Then send me na Lumley police station. I just tell you how disappointed in SLPP President Bio and government. And I hope say by this program here so it's not just about me. I make a recording and send it to Mr. Kutubu Kroma. I am angry every Sierra Leonean should have equal justice that our country day, regardless of your political affiliation. Not so the one that way they go on social media and go complain, then suffer on the ground. Just like how Mr. Shilon they say, the members of parliament, if they get this audio here, I want them to make this grabbing business priority for pass law immediately and put them in the way Mr. Shilon they suggest. And Mr. Shilon, when I ask you,
punish them, punish them.
It went for me. I fax to them. Every Sierra Leonean have to rise up because enough fear. I don't make Miss Fatima. I don't make audio over and over the send on social media. Nobody know they respond. It's wrong for me SLPP government treats in members and the citizens of that country the way they behave. One person will go shake hands with the president and return in land paper. What about the millions, the thousands of Sierra Leoneans we got the same land problem? Yeah. What about them? And I'm very disappointed in them. And I hope say they will take me serious. This land business, I ain't gonna bring President Bio in repetition for sure say in a fear president. And me, I'm not afraid nobody. I tell it like it is. This is the truth. Miss Fadima, 50 people that whether you hear me audio, now they personally they call me, they complain all over the world. So this land business, then they do the road, then they do this and they do that. But this land business has to be priority in the salon. Some people then they don't lose their job in America now. Because when they go court, the judges when they go CID, then they dabaru me patience. We got CID, the man refused to give us copy of the information we'll give. So what do you mean they say? And see them get cyber law, are they openly talk and say, are they challenge them? If the government, the CID, the judicial system, they handle the land business, where are they to challenge to them say, una take action? But are they openly selling to the viewers on audience? There are people in that country when I syndicates when nobody's land grabbing. All member of parliament them if they not pass law. Shame on them, Miss Fadima, Madam Nanyasa.
Thank you.
some of them people there waiting at the government. These are colleagues of ours now. All be they college together. I don't reach out the chain of command to two of them. I can name. I send message to Jusu Safa when I now the waiting self when I be former finance minister that do ya let it assist we and get into lands and SLRA. Let them solve this issue here. Not to beg with a beg for let them give we government land. This now we land the way we get. Now we out of good faith and as law-abiding citizens there, una say una for use them. Now they're not even consider. This is how heartless these people are. From 2010 where they take them to 2021 now, how much building material don't go up? By then we been buy cement at 17,000-20,000. Yeah. Now cement is about 85,000 for bag. Nobody cares about all that.
And they're not compensate. They're supposed for compensate we all that time they only do that once. And we believe say if then they embark on such a program, then go don't get a budget for they pay the land owners them every year. So what's happen to that money day? That's one question. But the main thing now for make the return we land to we back. The man where we buy the land from Dr. B.S. for Jones, he send we get a WhatsApp group of all the landowners them. He send a write-up where he give a history of that land day. It don't get the land from in the early 70s. And if in list we all now we for he sell land gi. He list we name them day. Say he sell land gi. So he sign on we behalf. You know, una put up so na the screen. So there's no dispute about who own which land. Now SLRA need for turn over the land. And one other thing I want for stress, from we meeting with the minister on the 4th of May, he came across very genuine. And it tell we say in main goal now for handover, let SLRA hand over the land to we. In fact, where SLRA be one use that we your meeting there for talk about other land issue there. The minister said no. He said only this Hamilton land issue now we they talk about. Let una turn the people the land, give them back. And I asked the minister at the time, I said we go want a copy of the minutes of this meeting. He tell me say, well, Mrs. Bolina, me call this meeting, so we go must get minutes. To date, we not ever get any copy of the minutes, you know, because they outline the timeline for the SLRA and Lands Act. And this Tamba Dauda,
he was in the meeting. He never raised any objection as Lands not getting involved in this. But when I send message to Anna, he send this text to me, tell me, say, Lance not get nothing for the. Now I respond back to Anna, I copy the minister, I say, Mr. Dauda, you as the director, they point finger and they bring political gimmick in this, than I'm in the APC regime. I said there is something called continuity in governance. And you're not a public servant. When you take over office, you get for lead waiting, you take over and pursue the matter. You can't begin to point me to the past regime. I say, I'm not interested in that. And I'm quite frankly disappointed that you as the director of lands, they come up with that kind of argument. You were in the meeting where the minister they detail what you want for do. You never raised any objection as you're not going to be part of that. You went along, you concur, then now they can't send me this text. Maybe you don't know what, maybe you're not supposed to be occupying that office.
Yeah, I agree.
And you don't find that look like there's some issue. This one where lawyer Shilon been talk earlier. Now this it go back to the same thing.
It's a big ring.
In a ring, why then for sell one land give 2 person? Now the same people in a Ministry of Lands, now then they go survey them place there. Yeah. So how come then they go back and approve plan them for
the same land.
For the same land. Yeah. So it's a syndicate, it's a very corrupt ministry. And we really need this issue for bringing to the desk of the president, because this needs to be addressed. You know, it make we very frustrated. Yeah. Some of we are almost 40 years. We want to go home.
You want to go home?
Yeah, Brenda, you 100% right. We need to the attention to the president. The president need for nobody.
We will make sure I get to the desk of the president.
And hopefully this show
May I say this?
Let's take a caller. Mr. Shilon, hold your thoughts, sir. Let me take a call.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Let me take a caller quick, then I go come to you, sir. Then I go to Kutubu, because this thing here should not be who that you know. This is something that the people then say it was a contract between the citizens and the government and these Chinese people say, we want develop, we want build infrastructure, level on the land, enough for be all this to go 10 years, 11 years later. But
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much.
name, please.
Let's just wait in the very quick. This question that we take everything to the president. I think we really need.
Professor, hold on. Professor, hold on. What's in Mr. What the caller is the caller there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hang up if I want other people to call in. These are patients have been don't call.
Okay, yeah, okay, go quick, Matt. Just go. What do you want to say just now?
Thank you.
I think what did they happen, Madam Patient?
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not patience again, but I want to give other people the chance for talk because other callers on the land. But that land, my husband, we don't get them from 1982, and we.
Madam Patient, you therefore turn what you they listen to it out off because I they give you feedback, so with a feedback. You can turn you set they listen to it off. Then you
okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so the points where they try for make really my fellow Sierra Leoneans them. We really just check out that woman they say. This is a syndicate. Ministry of Lands and Mines know about this stuff. The surveyor, they know about it. And the recording where I've been do, I stress say every party involved, whether they pass that law in a parliament, have to go to jail. Because just like how you go survey land, you not go find out say they don't sell and give this person. If they hand not the day, when we go to Jaman on the day where they guide the land, who give the authority to those people to guide that land? Where we land there under SLRA in control. By that, we should not be fighting for this land. Now SLRA now for the protect that land. So my take is so all them 20 people then we get that legal documentation. SLRA, whatever expense we they go to, the government have to compensate us.
So
I'm going to have another topic in other people. So that's my take.
Okay, ma. So all over 20, then I go bring Mr. Shilon in. Have you considered coming together as one voice? Because sometimes and they where people go half go yonder, it not get more power than everybody together. Una all come together, una 20, and go put on at the desk of the court, the president, whoever it is that una get to go with one unity voice. Because sometimes the little fracture, everybody going on, then cooks down there and I set him out, then cooks down there and I set him out. Then una where they come before, look like now they make a noise. You understand?
Now, Farima,
have you? I don't ever think about that for come together.
Yes, now that we don't do. In fact, we get a forum we don't create with all the 20 people them we attached to the agreement where SLI is signed. We're all in agreement. Now make we decide for take this step one for bring her out in the open because we did not meet with the SLIA, then we then get to, we say we are land with other landowners. But the thing is, it's difficult. There are some in London, there are some in the US, there are some all over in Freetown. So it's not easy for bring everybody, but we get a WhatsApp group with everybody there, and we're all in agreement with this.
Well,
but this is a first step in the right direction. We want for begin
yes,
take. Apart from waiting individuals, they take individually like the court, like waiting Baba do for get injunction against the Chinese and for common at the place there. But this now the one way we don't begin now as a group for go forward with this.
That's excellent.
Mr. asked for the meeting with we on May 4th because other landowners them in the
Okay, so Mr. Shilon, I know say you be one put your sense by this talk here. Waiting so far,
yes,
waiting that you say. Then Professor, I go to you. I go ask you a question. Let yourself help we by this talk here. Okay, go ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Shilon.
there are many ways this problem can be solved. Number one, the president not trying to depose him for contact. Although the president get all the blame because the boss man, all these things are being done in the name of in government. So the president, if you're not aware of it, he should be. But the parliamentarians are then fit for hold to the fire, more so. Because they in response, they are aware, they think say, oh, the voice so. That's social media. Now parliamentarians and for the talk about that. Because they can see the injustice involved now. But these guys are looking the other way. And this is the problem. So they need to be, but there are some solutions. To me, it's very easy. If you pass law, say, land whenever you get, you not get no chain of title. You cannot prove any ownership. And I think they may get one law within the outlaw now, what they may call um, the statutory declaration. Then you just go down to the Ministry of Lands. I go there, I go swear, say, I'm a great granny, and they get such and such a land. Then give me a thing that I swear. Then now the statutory declaration, and then give me the land, and give me paper. So let me get them. But they now outlawed that at SALONE 2 years ago. So now what do they need for do? For make everybody you heart angry you want buy land. Parliaments can do that. The courts can do that. All you get for do, when I pass law, if you sell land when to you own, and you get reason for beliefs not to you get them, and you sell them, when to in good faith, that will be considered a fraud, a larceny, like any other crime, like what you thief. A thief, that's plain and simple, a thief or theft in English. So what you do, when I attach criminal conviction to that, because of the seriousness of the nature of it, first attempt, you go get active time in prison. You will buy, we get reason for no say, not to that person they get and we sell it to you. You self, you will get for convince the court. Why you self not for go jail? So which means you the buyer, you self go be careful where you the buy. So if somebody not the buy, somebody not go sell. Because you when we get for attack.
It's true. You don't start like they buy stolen goods. You buy for get problem.
Say exactly. Possession of stolen goods. Because you know when CID go, if they meet stolen goods in your hand, once the goods itself was stolen, CID they charge you with the crime because of possession. So why can't we shift the same idea to land? If you buy land, well, you get reason for belief, and then you will sell, it should just be mandatory that you do active time of 2 to 3 years where you sell fraudulently. But you, the buyer, you get for convince the court, say, I was a good faith purchaser. I really believe say this person will get title. And here's what I base my belief on. So do I not put me in a jail? But give me a chance next time I will be wiser. If we put everybody on alert, this thing will die down, it will go away. And for government officials who have turned this into a crime syndicate, where you get police, you get all kind of government officials, people at the ministry, director, all anything they involved, they should definitely not only lose their job, but they should go to prison. Unless now the parliament get for do something like that, and they sow for all the parliamentarians and food to the fire, because they too are aware of this, and they too are beneficiaries of them fraudulent behavior.
Exactly. And
they buy them kind of land, so then look the other way. So if they want to solve, it's a solvable problem. Not to, you're not going to be a rocket scientist for figure it out.
The frustration,
so that's what I suggest.
Mr. Kutubu, the frustration of the people is nothing seemed to be working. This should have been a simple, give me, I don't give you back, look, and borrow, you must carry. They say when you borrow, you must carry. I lent you, say use me property, for carry, and now it don't become a problem. And the people are frustrated with the system when not they work. Okay, and everybody is saying, let me put onto the desk of the president. We go put onto the desk of the president. But then why should it always be get for to go to the desk of the president? Few people there on the panel don't talk, say the parliament, the member of parliament. We know, say, I think, is it Madam Kadi Davis, now the parliamentarian for that area they right now, Hamilton, because we know, say, it go for 1 year struggle. We'll have voice be heard, even if it's Ima. Or it don't cancel, una can't ask una and try for help and try for work, against this thing for una able get una land them back. Una don't involve una parliamentarian when I think Madam Kadi Davis, I think that Kadi Davis now the MP for that area. I'm not 100% sure, but we don't involve with parliamentarian too, because the parliament, everybody's saying the parliament. So we don't involve the parliamentarian them. And why it get for be like this? Why is the system, we talk on setting the laws, but then you get people always breaking the law, and a buff case nothing they come up behind them. Now that buff case there, we they try for see how we go solve that buff case. We're not for big buff case. Thing where a punishable by law on a crime, the person that get for face consequences, we could deter you from doing that. So una just answer me quick. Any one of una na the panel, maybe Mr. Sako, if una don't involve thing, then Professor I'll bring you in. Waiting at the solution because they say parliament, parliamentarians, some parliamentarians, them when they begin talk, then they shut them down. We know that powers shut them down.
I believe
So
say this
it's like we just
discussion
so
about
that's why we're
involving
saying
in parliament now a great move because na parliament and they pass law then. So with the need for pass all the lawyer who they discuss about you they sell land pass a law where they punish you and you they buy illegally they're supposed to pass a land. So if we engage parliament, I believe say this will go great impact to it. I believe so we need for contact parliament for let go there. Let put a case across Nepal about this land grabbing. Then we'll take consideration if we all find a delegate who don't get this interview here. Because I think me as Sabi the guy, the man who deputy with parliament as Sabi Mr. Which is Seba, I get him.
Okay, so
I would come put this today on the ground and
I agree with waiting Baba they say for go to the parliamentarian them. I think saying that the long-term solution down there because we all know how laws they pass in a parliament. Maybe not within the next 2 or 3 years then go past that law. I'm just saying, I'm just stretching it a little bit. But we want something right now because price they go up every single day. This is 11 years now. Price don't escalate what? Over how many 100%? And they know they care about that one day. And they not compensate the people them. All we need at this point, let SLIA ask lands. This Samba Dauda, when the director, he was the surveyor where surveyed the land before the SLIA give them Chinese here. He has the master plan where we get where SLIA get. Let it go back. With the Chinese then let them backfill the area. He surveyed the land. He's the director. He might not be the director now. I mean the surveyor now, but he get people the way they work with him. Let them survey this land and let we get to land. Then we pursue. Why would they pursue this law in a parliament for let them pass this one? So then Tia not they happy anymore.
Yes, sir. Professor, coming to this conversation, and also who was the Minister of Lands at that time? Was it Sandy?
No, this was before Sandy. I not even before Patso. I think that been the one way we did before Patso or so because we go with the Terry Patso under the APC regime have been minister. We meet with her, and sadly enough, the other disheartening thing is that you go to these people on official matter, then get them driver there, then get them security there, all in the same room. Why not they discuss government issues? I find that very offensive. But besides that, we discuss with Patso. Patso, I mean, they say, oh well, I go look into that. He dragged in feet until we left Freetown because they all know we're not in a tongue. We will come back. When we come, that was the end of it.
Okay, Professor, I bring you into this.
Minister, he genuinely want forget this matter resolved, but
that's what I believe.
Because he just inherits this mess after we meet with then they don't go. The people they don't go on the 8th of May. I don't know which reports they get because I've been say in one time and desk by the 12th. Me believe say he genuinely want for get this matter resolved. However, people then they where they work on that way very, very corrupt.
Yeah,
we believe they involved in this issue, especially during the time where Sandy been there. So they know waiting don't go on. Now make you see then they take we turn we upside down. Una go SLRA, we go SLRA, una go Ministry of Lands. Now that make we decide for bring and come out in the open.
Professor, push your brain for this, but let me talk about this. Let the caller hold on. Let give Professor time. Caller, please hold on. Let me give Professor chance for talk.
Yes. I don't money quarterbacking. Wait, I mean the point where we all were so oblivious of that all of it here happen because we get a very bad law as SALONE when you see with the economic constitution. Wait till you everybody they talk about the president. We can never live in a society where everything like the president. One way we get ourselves out of this quagmire, so this nightmare, so we don't before the country. We never go up kind of. We get for really try to forget the laws where they put SALONE ahead of everything, meaning that we get forget the diversification of powers. Because the presidency na SALONE is so much get power that everything else that the presidency. Once you get the support of any of the people within the establishment, you get the support of the president. That's it. So I think we way out of this. We way out of this for not get an effective system of governance. Again, and every now and then when I get opportunity for talk, like this at the state, we forget a mechanism or some kind of a law in the country where they define powers. Where no one branch no go dominate the other. Where in the next year, so when some people will go to parliament, they look over the shoulder. Or even the guys in the parliament, they look over their shoulders. We not ever forget this. When I actually one MP, they run out of parliament, pass he get for going back for withdraw his statement. But President Trump was very Trump, but you not run anybody out of parliament there because the law don't get the authority. The law don't get the authority until get law of state where they make every branch of government, do their own job. When no one no go run away with too much power, this Nigeria, every where they don't go back. The next guy there, when they come in, are the same thing. So the only answer we need for it a document where everybody they under where they will be accountable and where they divide laws, separate powers and separate other than that. So now we on that one.
Yeah, we can't get this buff case and country anything above case if you not pass through orders of the above people. They all corrupt and they do waiting and feel for do. But let's take a caller on the line. Caller, good evening. What's your name and who side they call me from, please?
Good morning from me on side. They call from Dubai.
Okay, good morning, my brother. Go ahead. What's your name, please? Just identify.
Me na a concern Sierra Leone because now the law the way that device we don't know if we get leadership in another country there anymore.
Oh wow. We should not live in fear, my brother. We should not live in fear. We should not live in fear.
No, we don't really get leadership anymore. When I thank you for them platform here, at least when I the open way either we didn't know everything they go on in the country, yeah. But to be honest with you, just like with Mr. Kutubu they talk. Now one man they control the country. That parliament they talk about law forget about and I die parliament. We don't see so many examples. We don't go on here. All that is there where they come up. So not to today begin. Well, this young don't disclose the thing now. We don't hide inside parliament everything. As we don't get president and that he is the god of everything. Waiting in one na in the happen. All that way they happen. So mother no, forget it. We caretaker no because we not call him president anymore. We caretaker no. Then TRB don't they go on. This now a simple phone call. Okay, me at a site one example. I was in Freetown driving around the Freetown. Not to me do the act actually, but I see somebody create a traffic go above the traffic rules. Yeah. This policeman arrest him. Tell him, well, you know what? Now this you don't commit. I go charge you for low go court. That man they laugh. They say if the policeman don't take the then go lost in job. And indeed, now common folk call a make. Now this don't affect SALONE. This phone call. That woman I so pity him, I pray for all the other way don't involved into this problem, made them succeed. Because to be honest, now phone call them for like yesterday. So when I mark my words, yeah, SALONE are the biggest thing that they form the president. Any connection we get, any hand we input hamper. And in above case, no system not the work in that country. And waiting there above this country, if we not avoid them to twin there in that country, we can never be. Forget the noise. They tell they sorry for saying low forget about the noise because it is not an ordinary noise. Then they hear, they know, and then get waiting. Then get people the way they listen them program or later they go show them say look on this and this. Then they hear it, but they can never act on it. Because then they can say no sooner than they leader, they are god of the country. Wait till the one in the happen. If the constitution does not change, this country can never be whole. To be honest with you. The parliamentarian they will allow for
sad.
Anyone we want to talk then the massive.
This is sad
for
when we live in a country.
It's too sad.
Yeah, go ahead, finish up.
I don't get much for say, but now the system and they were done there in the country, mama. The law, Buddha, they not power, now in the law, therefore. You ain't not get power, forget it. You ain't not get connection, forget it. You don't have any law. Law not they guide you. Law not they, he just decided. So many times are they weep in this country for the advantages the way they go on in that nation. It's too pity. To be honest with you, you go to foreign land or you they face a lot. Your country you are not safe. Then where are we now? This is the 21st century. Where are we?
That is the sad part of me. Thank
I'm
you
not
so much,
waiting for
concerned
still do anymore.
Thank you, citizen. Okay, yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the sad part is when the citizens feel hopeless. When citizens say they don't get who that's the things and the institution the way they don't already set aside for protect and preserve the rights and livelihood of citizens, when you feel hopeless that you don't have nowhere to go, you don't have nowhere to turn, and we are either concerned citizens say they don't make law, they're afraid for identify themselves. You cannot speak of waiting now you truth waiting they bother you or waiting they monitor you when you don't reach to the point where we're afraid for talk, we're afraid for express, we're afraid for bring come in the open how we they feel, we they suffer in silence, and the advantages of people in power and people on top what they do. Like this family here, they frustrated. This is their land, this is their property. And with the yeri when they talk say they don't reach retirement age. You know, prices are going up. They still own the land. All they did was they be want for help the government for let them develop, then give willingly, and now we don't turn bone at throats and think this is the frustration. Why these platforms like Voice of Sierra Leone, also with a team up, we they speak the truth where the truth is, and we they talk the good of the government, but yet we they speak the things and the fault for let the change go come. And we want for be the change where we want for see, because this is not right. This is not good. It's not good for the citizen. It's not good for where we're not able to speak with voice, or where we for able. Yes, we know say then say back. You sometimes and they either you Sabina position quick, but open soul like how we own na jara na free tongue. It takes one phone call for make I lose my job, or it take one phone call because I not like you, I put you or take advantage by you na me then a power. Power is not forever. That's why we're not go before. Because when this one don't do, when the other one come back, it go behind back, it begin back again. How we go before we die? So we can't come to the end of this segment here, so because we don't talk, we don't hear you in a case, and we dey pray and hope, and we self go put with voice, and we self go knock on doors where we all able, because we get for knock for make the loudest noise, because they say one voice can change a room. All una want na una land, all una want go usa una dey retire, usa una go enjoy the rest of una life. We don't know how long God get life with people them, but if you have worked hard, people long time ago returned home after they don't Canada diaspora and the land book. But now we stay here, and then you want for go make a retirement home. You don't tire with all the Yagana this country. You want just go peaceful and relax and enjoy and eat the same dirty way you been they eat, where you been be a little girl. They get people in the government, people in power, that they deprive we of them thing, and this is wrong. This is wrong. And all Sierra Leonean, like how Madam Patience come, because I know she's a voice on social media, it come, they speak the truth to power, say, una release we land them, that's all the people want. So that give una the last word, Madam Brenda and Mr. Bokari and Mr. Sako. La begin first, ladies first, not being partial here, but ladies first. Madam Brenda, what do you want for May we government here? What do you want for your last word where you want put out there to the people of Sierra Leone?
Well, I want to tell Una, thank you very much for this program. We want to give you the opportunity for make we can talk about this issue. We I hope say me hope now that it not go only solve we own issue, all the Hamilton landowners that were involved, but the land issue, land grabbing issue in general. They again appeal to the Ministry of Lands, the SLRA, and the Chinese then, because now then three involved, because the Chinese then get for go backfill and put the land back, and in conjunction with Ministry of Lands for making them cut them back to everybody their own portion for let them hand over we land back. From the 8th of May, where we meet with the minister, the 4th of May, we'll meet with the minister. We know hearing nothing. Nobody know they respond to we they send letter. Then get one style na SALONE in general. Now all the ministries they not they ever respond to emails or text messages. In fact, one of the SLRA people then tell we where we go tongue say, this woman he able right? Me I not can get time for read all safe. Can you imagine? Now government official they talk that, and I then take we land. So we just say appeal. We know say that we back money for over almost 11 years now, but we main point now for make we get we land back. Now that's all we they ask for. Let them liaise the Chinese, the Ministry of Lands and SLRA. Let them do whatever they need for do for give we all we land them back.
I mean,
Thank you,
just
Madam
for yeah, I tell now thanks for giving this platform here for let we send we message out and for let the viewers then go know and probably it will reach the appropriate authorities then. But I mean, I know they categorically saying that this they happen, but there is semblance of this where I want to say that when you see corruption being rewarded and honesty becoming a self-sacrifice, you may know that that society is doomed. Now, then I get for say.
Thank you, sir. And to Mr. Sako, down there na the ground na Freetown, now you they go every day, they knock on the door there. What you want for say to the one them for you land and what you want give to them? Which last word you want to say, sir?
I don't know if he.
Is Mr. Sako there in front the kind of
Okay. Well, I just want to say this before we done. I believe say this lady, now one of the then a high even
I believe say na Charlie Conte they refer to. Because this Charlie Conte, 9 and say get
this Charlie Conte say a notorious land grabber. If that's what they sell, instead they don't come now this weekend stop. You don't tell me say he don't let pull in hand and don't come back go tell me say go sell land to somebody where the person for LEC number, you don't get them for the land. Then people here where they could sell land in one judge. And they sell land give big people the way believe say they want and they go able fetch in case. Now so they go and plot sell and to go give them price for let cut able disperse the land. So the car now it will be big fed for we. Now that they try right now. The people who don't sell that land now prominent people inside the government. Because my brother go machine we confront one of the guy. I believe so that one they would see that portion of the land for me own land. Let me will reach up now the normal forum. But so why they have this land? Believe say political they were able come and they try for the now that make us for sit down for make a voice hard out there of women for say in the play. Empower the advantage for grab people. That they happen. But that they get for say.
I just want to add one thing quickly. Say, when SLRA lease the land from we, them been supposed for protect this land. No land selling not be ever supposed for take place na the place. Because there's no way when the Chinese, because when we can go, we they go there, the Chinese and still there they walk. So how then they sell this land? Now not able to understand. If Ministry of Lands and SLRA they say that they give land, why Ministry of Lands for they do sign papers them, conveyance them? Why?
I not even say them one order the bill na the land, not even building permits. Don't get nothing document. Now that document they don't go ask them from last week. I not able to send them document there. When go there, they ask whether the bill now they bring him all in the CID. But change they not can go because they not get. You know, so we hope say by this week, if present and they will go back to the minister for and say, look, we are not let them stop work. Now then they will try for let them stop from building at the place. And then they want to try for achieve that. You know, once we are able to corner around that way, they will be able to corner around the whole entire quarry. Now, so by Monday, this week, yeah, we're going to get answer from the minister.
Then they sell the local people, then they get access to the place. Then even they sell the stone them. When we get them stone then they. So we not get when we get for building, we not get for they go buy stone elsewhere.
The problem is I no more get access to the land. This Charlie content, I no more get access. Nobody know. As she go there, you see, they send the picture. They get OSD. Then they, as she can't no more. They interfere. Then they win. What she can do? All the people who don't know, but we will get the land. You know, so the problem, Andy, do that we.
Well, we don't come to the end of this first segment of this land grabbing issue. We don't know, say, for the longest time, we get problem with land na SALONE. And 30 days, nobody know able to fix the problem. And it is a shame when we have people that we entrust power to, they're not able to protect we. It is a shame people get forfeit for waiting, you know, waiting that they rightfully belong to them. But sometimes, you know, life, we cannot give up. You know, we go say, oh, long term, people, they say, oh, na so out for do. No, there's no more out for do. People have to speak up. Citizens, then they come together, then they get their senses, say, this is my property, this is my right. Una go knock on all the doors, wait for knock. Una go shout the loudest shout to the Yayuna, because if it takes any kind way for get una land them back, you know, we they try for help in VOS, but una can't we so, you know, so we know say we get like Kutubu, we get to platform now, yeah. Kutubu self getting your other platform where it is sound off and where people in the Yeri, because we need solutions to problems. We need for fix a problem where we're not going to forget problem again. So we tell you thank you for trust we for Kana we program for can put on a complaint for can lend on a voice to the problem where they, and at all times you are welcome to come back, and you know, whatever the solution, whatever the thing, the wheel of justice is going slow, but we will make sure say the wheel of justice turn to justice for all, because the coat of arms say unity, freedom and justice for all, and on they try for seek justice, and we pray for them to get endurance, for keep going and don't give up, don't relent, because now na get on a rightfully property. And
Mother Farida, before you wrap up,
this first segment,
before you wrap up, may I say,
I hope say this na good comment, and I believe say Kutubo Koloma will help we able to spread this message out there for the government. Now then they do the show for. Let people get all the evidence, all the discussion, let put out there, let people able to relate even at the right forum with this, you know.
Thank you so much. Okay, so you, Mr. Senator.
Just very quickly, first of all, we all must realize that the only way change comes about is when you resist injustice. There is no time for despair. The gentleman who called from Dubai, I feel for him, because in the lost all hope. But we therefore know say throughout human history, things don't change unless people stand firm and fight against the injustice. So for that gentleman, and for a lot of we would think say it's hopeless to talk to parliamentarians, you know, it's hopeless to go to the court, don't despair. Put as much resistance as you possibly can. Because cumulatively, resistance by 1, by 2, by 3 can become thousands and then millions. It can make things change. But if we all say nothing can be done, things can only get worse. Now, one direction to go. There is not going to be improvement. You see, there is no way things are going to change by themselves. Things don't change by themselves. Now, we make the changes. So let's get that in mind. So as despair, as discouraged as we are, or we might be, let's always strive for some of the courage and encourage those, and not to all get the fighting spirit. There are some of us who are willing to fight. American man get to saying, then say, I may go down, but I'll go down swinging. I may go down, but I may go down fighting. So I like the American spirit. That's what I believe in. So don't give up the hope. But I'm telling you, people, this is not a hopeless situation.
No, we're not to give up. We're not to give up.
We're not to give up.
To the end. We're going to fight to the end.
The beneficiaries them of this corrupt system, now the one they're in power. This is what makes it so bad. Now the one they're within the power, within the power structure, now then the benefits. So the poor, but there are more poor people than you get the powerful people then. So if we put with strength together and educate the people then, I may they understand, say, if you're not fed now, it's like a storm. If you wait till the storm comes, now you don't surrounding, it's too late for do anything. So now we can see it coming.
You know.
So now we begin for brace. We surrounding, put barricade them because it's coming. Unless we try to do something, that's what I want to tell all of us. So, but we cannot let people who just see government as a means to an end, in the sense that everybody that go to government just for personally enrich themselves will get for change that course.
Government to fight for the collectively, we can do individually as well. We don't know I get connection if we reach out there. Okay, so the whole group come back, we fight together.
Let me give the current minister, I think it will be unfair if we not give her a little credit. Because by action, by talking, by the things then you can tell say the man mean well. But wait till me to suspect, as much as it is sticking neck out for ordinary people, because you can tell, even now, he just gets a meeting with the lawyers in Sierra Leone on the same issues. The lawyers and just finish a meeting with them. He's really trying. He don't form committee for prevent all this. This man is like night and day.
Believe me, you don't say what the work.
You see,
so when they see minister dedicated for some people, you're not corrupt, you're not side this lady in any way.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, even the self commandant during the meeting, because he was very accommodating. Even when I meet at the hallway, me not be know that I be safe. Now somebody tell me say na the minister, walk up to him. I say we get meeting with you with SLRA. Now I say, oh no, come. Now I say, well, we SLRA not come here, it's not there we they wait. If we get meeting in an hour's time, in about half an hour's time, he spend over almost an hour with we, for try for resolve this issue. So I believe say he gets good intention, but the people them way waiting he inherit
surrounding the people around
him bigger than him.
Now the lands right now, the guy they find come work with them because he want frustrating things. And that's what this country today. They can't frustrate. Now that right now, one boy tell me the land is because they don't want to work with the man,
Okay. Thank you all so much. Professor Iwangi, your last word. Mr. Shiller, you done, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm through.
Okay, and to you, Professor.
Especially Mr. Shiller, this is a fight for continue unabated. Once you give up, it means you don't capitulate to cowardice, cravenness, and you don't surrender. Obama became president of the United States thanks to the defenders of people like Martin Luther King. And then he was the and saying don't give and he never have. So we dey satisfied and we go continue. That fellow we get the land back and the persistence we I mean, when I see what the president said, we'll hand over the document. So this is going to be a mission. We're glad you will come. You guys are only free for call me. When I get something, the only problem I've been getting to I not been get the Oxford debate in society thing. You not give me neither you not give me that Cambridge you for that right. I would say I not get about by God power. We told that at the ballet.
Okay, thank you all so much. We can talk on the
Thank
next
you so
issue.
much.
You're welcome to stay if you want to stay. If you want to say goodbye, it is okay to leave us. But we can talk on this corona issue. Corona. So if you want to say goodbye, you can just click and go. Or you can
Well, me,
stay
I go
on
say
with
goodbye now. I go say good night. May God
Okay,
put
good night,
blessing
sir. God.
on this business. Let God make we able to overcome this system, and this country. Let God us who will bring light to maybe the people who will able to make sure that the government correct this kind of thing they go on about this land grabbing.
By
I
God,
want
yes,
yeah.
by God power. Thank you.
Okay,
Amen.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Good night.
Una, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks.
So, are you going to stay the Boca, Mr. Sakodongo? Yeah, okay, Mr. Sakodongo.
We
So,
go
Miss
sign
Brenda
off,
and
but we
Mr.
go
Boca.
listening. We go
We go
sign.
Okay,
listen on with
okay.
phone there. We go sign in and listen.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. Bye bye. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
So we get this corona problem. We get corona.
Your performance was consistently good to excellent. So I must
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, let me go to this other part now. We get this corona problem within a salon. We see the Delta wave where now India begin. We don't kill thousands of people in India, but people they don't die. Now they don't talk say this corona don't reach na salon. We see within such a quick time the turnaround for the coronavirus inside salon right now 94 people they don't die because when I also been there on 70 something for a long time. 94 people they don't die of corona right now na salon, and as I talk so they say 75 people they don't get corona, we're positive of corona right now. And according to the NACOVAC, they talk say we don't go over 100% quick one of the people them where they get this coronavirus. People are testing positive, a lot of people them, so then go back to the restriction and all the last week Thursday, then go back to the restriction and all the other stuff then. But one thing where we make wave now, the video where the NACOVAC guy the NACOVAC ad where he put out where he say mandatory by force, whether you like it or not. If you get for go na any government building, if you get for go any side when a government get them, you get for show proof say you don't take one per the two vaccine them. You don't take your first dose. You get for get card, we go show say you don't take your first dose. And that is the problem where some people they ask the question, say, waiting at the alternative of the government. Does the government have the power? If you put and say enough for go inside government building, waiting at the other thing the way you put, you get system in place, we go give me access as a citizen for go say, I get for go do government business inside it. Or some people then back they talk say, well, the government is right now for protecting citizens them. So we want put onto una. Let we play this video for us of Jamil the NACOVAC, the man the one where they pantap Solomon Jamiru. Let we hear you what it talk. Then we get another video where they show the run where the people they run where the people them I want the other one first. The run where the people they go through for go get this vaccine, and then we see the rush and the problem. So the question where we don't done the video, let we watch the video them, let we hear you waiting Solomon Jamil, waiting the NACOVAC and the Ministry of Health, they don't put out, then let we talk on the issue. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is Solomon Jamiru. I want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thank you to the Government of Nigeria. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Health. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Education. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Finance. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Agriculture. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Tourism. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Tourism. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Finance. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Agriculture. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Finance. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Tourism. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Agriculture. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Finance. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Tourism. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Agriculture. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Finance. I want to say than Hello everyone, I am Solomon Jamiru, NACOVAC spokesperson. As Sierra Leone is currently witnessing a third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, defined by increased positivity rates, increased hospitalization, and additional deaths registered, I can confirm that based on genomic sequencing, the Indian variant, otherwise known as Delta, as advised by WHO and CDC as the dominant variant globally, has been detected in 2 female samples in Sierra Leone. This calls for extra vigilance. Wear your face mask. Get vaccinated now if you're past 30 years. And get your family, friends, colleagues, and community to do likewise. Thank you.
According to the press release, by tomorrow, members of the public or staff of every government institution will not be allowed within the premise of the office, within the premise of their working place, without without producing the vaccination card. So by tomorrow, if you do not produce this vaccination card, you will not be allowed to enter the banks, or you will not be allowed to enter government buildings.
It was a show of force, flanked by top security aides, the chiefs and stakeholders from a cross-section of the Kono district, as the DCOVAC coordinator Reverend Samuel Sassam announced the new COVID measures as the country faces its third wave of COVID-19. These measures are not new to residents in this part of the country, but the new measure that ministries, departments and agencies, including banks, will not be accessed by employees and members of the public with proof of at least 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccination has caused pandemonium.
Well, I'm here at the government hospital in Kono, where, as you can see, this is where the coordinator for DCOVAC has asked people that you should come and be vaccinated. As you can see in the government hospital here, things seem to be in disarray.
As a matter of fact, my presence here is in compliance with the pronouncement of the DCOVAC coordinator. But you know, as we speak, it is unfortunate that the process for me is not effective. Like if you take a look at the vaccinator, who is not there now, you look at the arrangement of the beneficiaries coming, for me it's not even in compliance with the COVID-19 standards.
The challenge is too much, especially like the female. The man that used to issue out the card for you to have access to register for the vaccines, because of overpopulation and there is too much fighting, women don't have any access to the card.
Because of these new developments, the medical superintendent of the Koidu Government Hospital, Dr. Daniel Nabali, says they are working frantically to remedy the situation.
The whole thing about this, because government wants to protect its people. So you see, not that government is forcing people, is coercing people to do it, but the government is saying that people should see reason for them to be vaccinated. Now the cutoff age has gone down to 30. So you see, massive people, huge amounts of people are now coming to be vaccinated. So based on that, because it was only yesterday, and now today we have put modalities in place in line with the DCOVAC, together with the DCOVAC, in which we will be expanding the vaccination sites from the EPI department, and then another station will be established at the DCOVAC Center.
Dwight Neal, AYB News, Kono District, Eastern Sierra Leone.
Well, we've been on talk on this on the side before, and I know say I send a message to the Chief Justice, Mr. Babatunde Edwards. I mean, they ask, say, is this law right for force people for take vaccine? Say you cannot go into a government building where you don't get the vaccination, because the CDC also say for prevents the disease from spreading, we can wear a mask. So I asked the question, if the government has the right to put such law out, or the Ministry of Health, then get that law there for put this out. What are the provisions that have been made for citizens we not believe in the vaccine, that they not believe in the vaccine, say I for take vaccination, I want this vaccination good for me. Waiting at them citizen they I go able go online for do me government business. Why I not go wear mask? Where if now 1 hour they go there na government business court case the waiting and call. And then also if you sick, if there's something do me, they're not a give you the vaccine if you sick. How then go do no say I sick or I not sick for that I take the vaccine, or I get court case, I not able to show up in a court, or I go there they say I don't get the vaccine, then they go give me more trouble. What are the things that wouldn't put in place for avoid all them complication and they, because to some people they're looking at it like the government is taking their right of choice. If I want for take medication, now my business. If I don't want for take medication, I'm business, because I'm not saying yeah where we did so. We're picking them before you go school, you get to take the childhood vaccination. Some parents don't believe in their children taking vaccination. You get the choice of homeschooling your kid. You can, the government will give you all the provision. You can homeschool your kid, it go just like you did at the classroom. That's a choice. But if you go put the law say, if you're not 30 years or older, if you're not going able for go to bank, any bank, go do your bank transaction, you're not going able for do nothing. So it's like they tie in their hands, say power, you forget this vaccine. Is that right for put that kind of message out to the citizen? Yes, Mr. Shilon, first I go to you, sir. Put your legal hat on and let we discuss this conversation, because it is a conversation that is making wave on social media. Does the government have that right to say I get for take them, or else I not go participate in no government business, no government building? Even if I get personal business where they go do or they go work, I not get for go inside the building. Go ahead, sir. I want get your take on it. Mr. Shilon is muted.
I'm sorry. To begin with, in defense of the Chief Justice, since this involves matters that may one day end up in front of him, although it's highly unlikely because of the judicial structure in Sierra Leone, these matters are not being challenged. So it's highly unlikely it will end up in front of the Chief Justice. But because of the position he holds, probably it will be wise for him not to render or take a position at this time. Because if he do that and then the case happen for come before, and whether it's right for the government to do that or not for do that, then it would not disqualify himself by implication. So I'm just saying that as a preemptive step, therefore probably the Chief Justice, although that may not be his intention, but it may be wise for him not to give any comment. That said, I always try to remind we people them, say we have a constitutional democracy, which means the Constitution is what is supreme. It's the supreme law of the land. The Constitution is higher than Parliament. It's higher than the executive. It's higher than the judiciary. All laws passed must be consistent, not only with the spirit, but with the letters of the Constitution. That said, there are basic protections, fundamental human right protections, that no constitution, no law can take away from people. A government get the power for set reasonable requirements for compliance or for the public good. It's just like a government can say, for whatever reason, we for put on mask, because sometimes you could get the disease, you know, so you get them and you can pass them over to another person. And then they require the other person for put on mask, just in case, since you don't know if you get them, in order for prevent them for the general good of society. But that would be a reasonable, because now the word reasonable now ain't count now. But I don't think any government get the power, or any government agency get the power. Because when you begin insist and demand that people for inject something into their body, that's a gross invasion of the people in privacy. You cannot make that a requirement and it become constitutional. In addition to the fact that I think that would be fundamentally wrong, both from a human rights standpoint and a constitutional standpoint. Okay, because now you are forcing somebody to take something, and we all know, even in the best of circumstances, people do have reaction, negative reaction to certain medications, injections included. So now you force the person to say, hey, go take them regardless of what the outcome. If government is going to force people to take this vaccination, then the government should be willing to say, should you get a negative reaction, should you have some devastating effect, we, the government, will take care of you, your medicals, your employment, your family will be to take care of. If the government wants to go as far as insisting, but they cannot recklessly or abusively just say, you must take a vaccination. That's a gross invasion of people. That goes beyond the bounds of reasonableness or reasonable rules or regulation. You know, telling people for put on mask, that's reasonable. But saying you get for take something for go inside your body, that is just a way beyond. That's going beyond what in government get the power for do. So I am one of those who take the position that the government is dead wrong. In addition to the fact that prohibiting people to go to government offices, people have a right to go to government offices. There is a right. This is not a privilege. You know, if the government get a post office, I get a right for going to post office. I get a right for going some banks, unless they're completely private bank. But bank like Rokel Bank, that is quasi or quasi-government, people get a right for go there. So people get a right for do all anything in there. So the thing is, we know I cannot see how government will try for tell people and say, oh, you know, for kind of government building. Government building is open to everybody. So the government cannot prohibit people them. So I am one of those who take the position that the government don't get the power. The unfortunate side of it, how do you test the limits of the government's power? This is the problem. When you get a judiciary that is almost non-functional, because somebody can put to test to determine the validity of or the reach or the extent to which a government can push the power. But unfortunately, everything is left halfway. The judiciary plays very little role. So we not get clearly defined rules and regulations and laws and policies. And so this is not the problem. So once again, I am in total disagreement with the government. I don't think, say, the power exists under the Constitution that they can insist that somebody take vaccination. They can require it, but they cannot insist that you take it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
And to Professor, you said put your sense by this, because we don't hear on social media and news every day, and we don't get this conversation, like I say, and you know, everybody putting points across. Say, I mean, it don't sound to me, it don't sound good. To me, it is not. It's not. Should not be mandatory. Yes, the government get the right for preserve and protect lives, but at the same time, do they have that right? We don't hear Mr. Shill on your side. What in your take by this? What in your opinion on this matter at hand? Where you hear Mr. Jamil say everybody get for take this vaccine here as long as you're 30 years or older. Then we see all the mess and the rush, because they say some people go to a bank for go take their money, then go one for go hospital. Even if you're sick, you cannot go hospital because you get COVID vaccine. I mean that don't make sense. Government hospital then. So what do you take? What thing are you take on that, sir?
Thank you. In addition to everything we Mr. Shilo doctor in the legal context, may they bring two again together. One, they can be waiting that the government about in terms of development to start the country. Then before I dwell that, we even want to ask the question whether whether the citizens they know who said this vaccine come out, and again, they follow side come out. Number two, for ensure the integrity of the state, the government officials there, from the big part, from the president, take kind of, they say don't take this one, they don't take care. because they need to give assurance to the citizens they say the same. Because when we get actually, we see the big pan it take the person within near it take So when the president, the vice president, talk people, they may take the free, they will say, oh, well, okay. Because we need to get that sense of assurance. Say yes, this is good. Because when we look at the medical integrity of the country, and in terms of how they refrigerate them, we get a facility they go, go your everything like that, store it, then put in a store if you got it. And then now we go to you in this other side where Mr. Shilon bring the legal part of it. Here is how BDP back then. The first question we get for ask the government, what are the mechanisms they want to put in place for make sure say let people will not go that place, but at the same time life will continue. And at the only for juxtapose the arguments or make comparative analysis. Or people say, oh no, do that, but we will do. Because people they were very strategic and they made the plan. For example, where schools be not locked, government offices have been not locked, but still they open in the sense you go online and do things there. Schools they not be going to the physical school, they not be going to the classroom, but learning will continue. People are not going to mosque or churches, but worship continues. Why this happen? Because they get infrastructure in place, they get mechanisms in place. And how this mechanism can in place, just the code tell the government every now and then. And then they go get that San Francisco, baby, you go and not anymore. What is the country need most energy for drive electricity? I mean, you need the energy. Because all of it here, why that here possible in America, where school not there in the building, they must school they continue. Now the energy where they get, they give the beginning all internet, laptops and all that. So the education, even graduation, commencement, now over the other equality warranted. So the question what they ask the government, yes, in as much as you would have, would have prevented, but then also there are human rights issues involved there. I mean, you cannot fundamentally encroach on the rights of people there because they need. There are certain things that they just forget them. But when I don't put them provision in place, even now that you should not be a lawyer, you should not be good at court. But still, if they deal with the clients, because they get zooming, how they do the conference call from the court and all that. So, in the absence of all of that, they will use kind of a and draconian measures, and they're going to make life very hard for people there. And we go even go further for certain acting in a violation of their rights, and we side with Mr. Shilong and everything. This night, what they talk about them people that all the time they can do things on impulse. They not get planning, not they can just do them like that. So to me now a gross violation of people that they call them, and now more hardship it will be to the people that they facing in the sovereign. Back to you.
Yeah, you talk of more hardship. There's a video going out there, so we just got more slowly use on one time. You talk on more hardship, they go on more hardship because this vaccination, it is like it's causing chaos all over the place. People then they run for belong, they get for go they get for go take their money in a bank, they get for go maybe in a hospital or go visit them person in a hospital or whatever it is. And the government don't claim say most of the people in back where they get this Delta wave, now the people there where they now hospital, now health workers and all that stuff. But we talk on the hardship of the people and it's creating more hardship. We see a video, let we play for on a year, waiting the World Food Organization then go out there, they do a survey and then talk to people in Sierra Leone. Let we hear the hardship where the people them they go to, because we'll be here one time where the first lady, I know say they say in brother died this week or something. May his soul rest in peace. Let God encourage them for waiting day, and also to Madam Sylvia Blyden, if your mama die, and everybody else where they mourn the loss of them people and loved ones. May God give you a peace for endure and let the memories of your beloved and faithful departed rest in perfect peace and be a memory to now. But this first lady been talk say gone dry. Mrs. Sef gone dry for me. That was the thing where people they say Mrs. Sef gone dry for me. And the outside organization when at the world where they for hunger and waiting and call, then do a video, then go around and ask people them. And unala we yeri for we Sef and una make una judgment on what una yeri and let we talk about that. So let's play the video.
Now we pick it at the cry for we. Work out get tired. The chop go work you cannot go with because tired. Again picking them. Me not go eat all. The one left up in a wood okay again them back. Me they suffer.
Rest don't go with the money all.
Well, where you gonna for tell you man like add back? Anybody knows right now the government is not easy for we at all. We'll try it again.
This now na manage no more, I guess for manage.
But mama, this your order to manager. That will be. Everybody na salon and a manager. First we they sell rest 3 cup 5,000. Now the rest don't go 1 cup 2,000 use. And not to everybody they get that 2,000 for can buy rest.
Last year, after this corona don't come, this 20,000.
Well, the chop business with me and my family is not easy with we at all because of the cost of living. Last year, we they manage 5 cup rest for me and my picking. They would eat with the full to family. But this year now, these 3 cup we just the manager because of the cost of living. The Maggie 1,000. 3 for 1,000. Who safe not to win at the transport? Now for low be who safe.
How be the buy fuel safe? First, from 7,000 to 8,500. That even give of course, even to have a passenger from Bo to Matru is not easy.
Where the salary is not increased, it still stop where it is. As from April last year up till now, we have stopped. We have no increase. Even when you are in classroom, then the child come and say, "I'm hungry." Your child, that will traumatize you. Will not be able to teach. You will go out, and when you come in the morning, even you as a matured person without food, you cannot do anything. And you leave your children to go to school without food. That's all you will think about it. So you will not go into the class and teach well.
The malnutrition cases is increasing. From March up to April, we have now got 40 malnutrition under 5s children. They don't hunger. The father will get chops of that 9 men picking the way I get with that beyond the way now 5. Now the rest of the it's 15 cups. Now we don't reduct time to 9 cups.
Na ya come no go. Time na ga agba mo fe hi ga no ka me ro ta gi amo ta mo go. Ana na ha mo be mo gwa ma so ku go ga kru wo han kin ga fe no ga we.
Well, because here we do subsistence farming, and there is no mechanized. We are not doing mechanized farming. I only produce very small amount of food for my family, so I get very small yield. If it cannot take a year, then the crops will finish or the food will finish at home.
Wow. I don't see the video. To credit to this new government, we see last month or this month, early this month, because June 9 they done so, then starts that farming program where the Islamic Bank of Saudi Arabia give money to the government for help the people them let them farm so we go able feed we serve. And we pray it work out the way where them people they are seeing where this bank vision where they go put them proposal before for let it work for the people because the people are hungry. If you been they eat 1 dozen cups now na 9 cups, so now 1-2 months no more for all the belly for let you not starve of starvation, but you know they get all the right nutrition where they go inside the body, the picking them malnourished, the famine, then the after famine, the way they don't do. We get for do more because agriculture, we able feed, we serve. And this program where this government not begin, so I know for sure, say the term where they been begin where the previous administration for they not get nothing for sure for them because the money came from Islamic Bank too. I know that for 100% sure that the money came from Islamic Bank, now Saudi Arabia, where that same time they do with the Gambia, Yaya Jammeh time, then give them people them. That's why in Gambia a lot of people are farming now. They're able to feed themselves. They don't get problem with food problem. I pray to God it work because the decision that where we governments and the making people in power makes, it affects the poor man them. And the saddest part is these people are the same people that are going to dance for them, that are going to vote for them, regardless of waiting. It's like they're in the survival mode. They can't get their one baggers. They don't forget all the sufferness till after elections. Then the sufferness begins again. There's no growth. I pray to God this farming initiative where this previous administration, President Bio administration, don't begin. I pray to God it work for the people, for the sake of the people. Because I tell you, say the poor wedding at SALONE right now, I be always they talk I know one day seeing Kanye, it's la pass and tuna. Me gentleman, Mr. Shilon, put you sense for this because you see the people that you we hear and the people that where they carry the load are the women of Sierra Leone because mama na you born the picking. Yes, papa, we know they say una not did it, but the women are there. The women are the ones making sure the kid eat. You read the female teacher, they say me at the broke while they see picking then they can't they angry. When you angry, you know they learn, you know they concentrate. The brain not the function because you're not even thinking, you're not even getting the stuff where for give the brain life, for let it function, for let you retain waiting and they teach you. Mr. Shidon, you don't see the video, sir. Add your voice to this.
Well, you cannot listen to that video there. Feel nothing but pity for the people them. Because when the woman say, na in your own household or na in your house, they eat 12 cup rice now, then get for cut, same number of people, but then get for cut the quantity of cups of rice from 12 to 9. And that is really telling of what they happen. But even when we talk about the bank, the Arab bank or the Saudi bank, will provide financing for teaching people them some kind of farming mechanization. The problem is that no matter what you do, not everybody could become a farmer. Not everybody could farm just because they want to grow food for eat. Some people do not enjoy gardening. Some people do not enjoy farming. So what do we do? So the government, not forget the money. There should be educational process by which people can farm, get what you will call subsistence farming, which means we'll make enough for your family live off of, but get surplus for sale. And that surplus if they want to do farming, just based on the little one, get a corporation where they all can come together and put their surplus. Then can make money out of them by selling it to non-farming communities who are in need, who want the product. So you can get two benefits. You can farm enough for take care of you and your family, and farm enough for get so much left over that in conjunction or in cooperation with others, when I keep putting our money together, I want our product together, I want to produce together and be able for sell as a group, as a cooperative, where on a able to do more for ourselves. And what is so funny about this, in the 60s, The farmers had such organization. They began cooperative, some sort of banking, what we call credit union. They had it. The farmers had it in the 60s, where they can go borrow money from. Where they help them for go through the off-season period. So where they sell their coffee, their cacao, their banga, the palm kernels, they're able to make enough for pay the cooperative back when the bank or the credit union. So what has happened to us now, like everything else that we history, instead of that system there that existed and worked very efficiently for the poor people them, in the 60s, now that system did not exist at all. So what happened to win a salon? Well, we parents them, not be learn any book. They were just poor farmers. They can't read, they can't write, they can't even write the name. But they were more organized than now where they don't spend all the cacao and coffee money to educate them, picking them. We don't learn all the book here. And every time you turn around, professor this, professor that, doctor this, doctor that. But not a single effective progressive policy you can see where they help and improve the lives of the people with all this book. Maybe it's time that we'll just revert to the common sense approach. Maybe book not too good for we, because it's not producing much of anything. This education now, this book learning, this degrees, they not become excess weight on the system. And you know what's going to happen? Anytime you get excess weight, it will weigh you down. So we're being weighed down with all them big degrees there. You know, I don't want to refer to any particular person, but I'm still just struck by the lack of simplicity, or lack of humility. Why is it that if I were a professor and I hold the position of Attorney General, for example, why should I be called Professor Mohammed Shilon? I mean, I don't understand. There are still people in high places in Australia who don't feel content. They don't even care much about trying for showy what in education can do. They want for hard professor to the name. And to me, it's laughable, it's ridiculous, because if you get a title there, then the end game or the result is lack of productivity. Is shameful. So I'd rather not be called a professor, even if I were once a professor, and let me result or my activity or my accomplishment speak for itself. But we are just so much into the superficial things there. I am not doing much of anything. And so Professor Kutubu talk about technology. I give you a good example. During the COVID-19, we talk about the COVID-19 thing. During this COVID-19 period, even I, sitting right where I'm sitting here, did a few cases in court from my living room. The technology is there, but we can't see transferring that kind of and it's accessible to Sierra Leoneans and Sierra Leonean courts. But I don't think these are things we should do for give the people them the service we they deserve. For give the people and the justice we they deserve. We feel say, oh, this is not for America, and for what? And so as long as we think say we're not deserving of anything modern, all we are deserving of a hardship, always for stretch your hand, let the West, they tell we almost we forget and how for spender, until we get visionaries, we get leaders them, we could dream for the rest of the country, dream for unborn generations, until we get some people, such people, and we're going to know them when they come, because they go talk, and go preach that. They go preach that from the courthouse, and go preach that from the churches, and go preach that from the mosque, and go preach that from the schools. We go know them when they come. We just don't have them now. Nobody looks out for the country. Everybody's looking out for themselves. Everybody, self-preservation. You know, that's the problem.
Yeah, self-preservation, self-preservation, and our people are struggling with people and they suffer. You know, we tell God thank you within an empathy of the world, because sometimes I can always say, some people can say, why you say that? things happen for a reason. We not be understand. A lot of people died during the war. A lot of people were killed during the war. A lot of people lost everything during the war. But sometimes you look at it like, say, it is a blessing in disguise. You know, some people might not understand, but it is a blessing in disguise from open the Western world where we don't colonize, where we don't exploit, we open the doors for let we come back for able give back to our people, because a lot of people giving back monthly, daily, weekly to them people them because they find themselves now then sire of the world them away from home, where they're able to walk outside and they pay, where things them, you know, as long as you have a job, you can able share the little bit you have with your family. Some families don't have nobody overseas. Some families not get nobody. Then just day by the grace of God and the antomort and waiting, then go get for that day. Then some people now 1 month off for the day, then they get. And yet we have governments, then they give themselves clothing allowance, then they give themselves health allowance, then they give themselves vacation allowance, then they give themselves, then they make everything for them and their family. But the needs of the people, I can always quote Rollins. Rollins say, you know, to paraphrase what he said, I was flying up my plane and I saw the suffering of my people. Even though sometimes some people can say the way we take over power, overthrow and all. But he saw he was on death row, he was in prison, getting ready to be sentenced or something. But in people then go pull him, come out inside there. He say, I was flying, and I say, why should another human being live like this? That was the beginning of the change in Ghana. Where Ghana today, they're not perfect, but then they close to Usai Salone, not even think of doing what we be done past them once upon a time. Ghana, self-sufficient in many things. We're not able to feed, we serve, we're not able to think, but like I say again, we they pray to God, because sometimes that's all we have to do. Sometimes we just left everything to the dunya, let the dunya fix up. But then we have to, because when we don't have no more hope, no more way to do, we just say we surrender all things to God, God go fix them. But sometimes it take we effort, we talk, we voice for say no. We education free in our minds for understand, say we deserve better. If una they get all this privilege, then we were the masses of the people. Una cannot do things to change our life. Una cannot bring stuff. We go able to change with life. Where at least I go able to get the basic necessities of life, the basic. And these are the same people, especially women. These are the same people, because woman bokupas man na salon. Dancing for these politicians. We don't hear read them, professor. I bring you in, sir. And then they dance. And then they sing. And then they suffer. What do you say?
We learned lawyer, see how meticulously lay the case. And we see the people there. Now, I let me talk back in the context of history, waiting, we see what we become of. The then can't share what we see. Okay, we ask them, how did we get to this stage? We, even food said don't be a crisis. It don't be crisis. How did we get to this stage? How did you get to this stage where we get a country where you can, but wait, talk about, let's take you go back now and see street. I think you're else. See the
parking gun step.
Yes, ma'am. Mama, let go next to ma'am. You see the big apothique at the yard. That they Antijane in Gambiki, Miss Bowin in North Carolina, that in the studio. You see the apple there. You see them.
Goes apple.
Yes, ma'am. You see that. You see this plum, black tumbler, that's not the one you see. Then you ask, well, who said all that here go now? Who said it here go? Well, Lady Fadima, Mr. Shino, waiting not happen as Salone and to change that mindset. The other day, I'll be fortunate enough for the meet way the foreign minister will get. He use one word, we get a call now. We get a call.
Don't you thoughts, please. Don't you thoughts.
No, we get a call. I mean, they are all part of us.
Finish your thoughts, then we'll go to the caller. Finish your thought. Caller, please hold on. We'll go to you. Just finish your thoughts, please.
Yes, ma'am. The minister say, he say, because what you always get now, what they call the paradigm shift. But the thing is, we don't hang on too much to the paradigm. So the minister said, they will not move from the paradigm and not embrace the shift. So embracing the shift means we change with attitude, with mentality, with perception. How people come up like that can see on a future, I don't get good education, I don't get place for day, I don't get most of these things we see at Fadima, they are regular. When you know of the forest industries like Kenima, you know of SAPMB, NTB, you get all of it. You know, they see migration like regular. Now look Freetown. Look how Freetown they. All of these things. So part of the problem also, now this world all come. Whatever they move with Mr. Dr. Roland Touye, we need for 10 hours. Thank you. People like Dr. Roland Touye, they address the problem. Dr. Roland Touye should have been in Freetown, running for being minister, running for being MP, but anyway, what you do, you say no. There are also other avenues there where they go, where they help the national development. Look what you do under. So part of the problem, when you talk about government, I don't meditate to government that there's not, government doesn't exist by itself. Now we all, what do they do? Like whether we can be advised for the key, will they do this with it? So what we need for do man, we get for take an introspection and ask yourself in that this kind of a life here, one the life for the cry every now and then, even on the face of the thing that will get you for make we not go through this one. So part of the problem, man, I can honestly admit, we search that the part of the problem.
Yeah, I agree say the problem sometimes is from us. I agree that 100 and not a dispute that. But then somebody go say, what am I going back to upline? Long time ago, where we people them been there, we people then are upline and come on like Migrani na upline, Masang Paka Pujon district. In people then they come, whether they can't do what in and they do, then go back because they had something to go back to. After the war, and people came to Freetown, then come in their own little way, because when then they upline, then see Freetown like how you go say they come America, nine Freetown to the people from the provinces. When they come to Freetown, they see the lifestyle, they see the this, they see the this. Most don't want to go back. They want to stay in the city. And then when the baby don't come after the war, where they lost everything, they don't begin small, what they call waiting, then they go back to they don't have. Because money was provided for rehabilitate the people, but did the government spend it on Usai for fix this problem? That is why we have the overcrowding in the Bay areas. That is why we overcrowded in the slum. That is why we have these communities where they not get side for go, they're stuck in the city because everybody thinks everything, life is in the city, there's no plan for them for go to. So how do you take these people away from the city for go begin something else? Because he's talking about the paradigm shift. Not for just talk not the thing, but for understand the causations of these things. Why then why they no one go back and provide things them, incentive them, like for embrace the Mr. Touye of Sierra Leone, for Dr. Touye of Sierra Leone, where they improve the people in life, where they make them self-sufficient, for try for make themselves building houses for themselves and doing things for themselves. So that's the shift that the minister they talk of the shift. But are they gonna reach out to the people them where they go use the way where they do as the model, say this is the model what we go use, let the government go into Mr. Touye. How are you doing this for make the change, for keep the people them who side and they where they go make at the maximum potential. The people have the right to move anywhere who side and they in the country. But then when there's nothing for them to hold on to where they were from, there's nothing to go back to. You know, some people can put that argument there. How are they going to go back to what? They rather some of them rather, just like how some people them will cross the Pacific and not the Pacific and the seas of the Arabians and all them kind of thing, and they for go to a better life. Some of them dying in the seas, then dying in the journey, the Arab, the whatever they call the Temple Run, they call it, because a game and they for win you, they come across everything, they go through it. Now the same thing some they can't sit on a Freetown, they rather than at the slum then go back to the village, go back to whatever it is, because they think everything is there in Freetown for them. You see? So let me take the caller, they will go come back. I'll give you a chance for answer that. Caller, good evening, sir. Ma'am, what's your name? What's the calling for?
Okay.
Hello, caller?
Yes, good evening. This is Omar Odeko from Switzerland.
Yes, Mr. Omar, good evening, sir. Go ahead, please.
First of all, let me make a small comment on the government policy where they say they take vaccine before ever they enter government offices or banks. Okay. You see, when we copy laws from people, we get to know how this law functions. Then from there, you will copy them, you paste them to you work. For instance, when you go club, you go to a bar, you for make sure say either you get vaccine or you get a quick test. Then get a quick test so they do not the most. Now we be face a government we for don't come where for test people quickly at them banks or at them government offices before they enter. Rather for tell them say if they don't get vaccine, they don't go enter because the vaccine already my open secret say enough for the people. So then if you don't make planning for at least count the system where they test, make sure so that one way they enter, they clean from the coronavirus before they enter the then premises. If you don't better than then decide for come up with that way then come out. Now Mr. Kutubu talk something about the food side. He say how we manage reach usa with this. This is not a question that he mentioned one key thing again. You see, Madam Fadima, Sierra Leone, this now not to 40 years, not to 50 years, this now less than 30 years. Sierra Leone, for instance, the Konon region. Now only in Sierra Leone, I see you to buy food, agricultural food, you get insurance. When you buy cassava in the market, the woman way they sell you the cassava, they assure you say if you not cook, kawita I will return back. This go to 40 years, not to 50 years, this now less than 30 years. When you buy cassava, you know cook in the counter. When somebody sell you per mine, when you see a reprimand and masanke, if you counter, they return you money. When we reach now this way, we they suffer now for food. This start to happen after the rebel war. We get people who get fatter line and upline way after the war, then kind of free to the no go again. And Madam Fadima, no matter what in the government do, the government will go whole. We the people now we get for war, now we get for feed ourselves, now we get for farm. The government can only facilitate them, but if we not ready for farm, believe me, we will still be into this system. Sierra Leone, we get all the land for farm. We get people in Africa not because of sufferness and upline and corn Africa. Now just because of relax, just because of the laziness. We get people who get fatter line of freedom, but rather than decide for old padlock and keys they send now Abacha Street. Where them for them apply the farm. This now we left this blame over the blame government. Now how many hundreds of tractors don't come through? When you see the youths them for together now, don't want to get land for together now, form themselves as small groups, meet government and government support them out for farm. This now so nation they grow. But we need to do this. All the youths the way you see, and this will all are all guilty of this. All man together, anybody who see gets no money, instead of you invest, you go invest in a farm. If they buy Okada, kind of Freetown. You see, so this government will do you, but we Sierra Leoneans, this report indeed, not for government, this report now for we the Sierra Leoneans, how we manage reach to we so today. Where you they see that mommy make okra plazas, even red per my way, because we get per my in that country, Pamai will be able to afford another plazas. You see the plazas, you really know some massacre coupe plazas with. How we reach at this level? We submit Sierra Leone when they say that Konopa, to say we grow up, Barabara or fresh. If they say they load up from that Walia, that's how they call Walia. Maybe una no sabi that side, they will call Walia that Crankopat. If they load of fresh, this they will load 2, 3, 4, 5 Land Rover every week. They pass for go Freetown. In order to give vegetable they come on a Kabbalah. In order to the fruit and all that thing they will come on a Kabbalah. We sabi mango who grow up na Kabbalah, me na Kabbalah Patrick come out. We need a claim stick for pick mango. What thing they na grown alone don't do for long better food for the day. When we reach na this level now, when we go suffer for food that WFP get for go do a documentary where it's shameful not to the government but to we the Sierra Leoneans, because we the Sierra Leoneans we need to take responsibility. It's at time we share this responsibility rather than we blame government. You know, this really I hope say the Sierra Leoneans where feel say they can take responsibility and do something. We'll take this team and we move Sierra Leone before. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omar. I make a point there. It talk on, like I say no more outreach. They talk about long term where them be the outside and come on a Kabbalah and the rest, the mango, the fruits them be they come. You get the lettuces. That's where you have the lettuce, the cabbages, the carrots, all them vegetable what's it called. You get bulum. Because like me right now, I don't go acquire land now. I don't go acquire land now that area there where right now they don't begin plant granite for me. I mean because I say farming, the land is for farming. Now we get for eat from the land and do all things from the land. I have a cousin we don't return home when we don't go for they say they get for return na pujan. She said you can come there and claim your grandmother because of your grandmother heritage. Because of your grandmother, come on, chiefos, you get right to land. You can go all property. So, you know, we're thinking about that. We all get for go back and give we all really small, what would they do? We all they try for make, you know, what we go able for go because we people get for eat. Agriculture, land is for agriculture, land and for eat. We've been get fruits, we've been get vegetable. But then Mr. Umar said the people have become lazy. In a way, because sometimes I'm not making excuses, but because of the degree when we get in the psychology field, I look at it like I understand when, you know, the mental health issue, people become lazy because they're depressed. They don't want to do anything no more. They lose interest in what they don't used to do. They just the average. They just don't want to be bothered. They just don't want to be. So there are many factors where they cause this thing. But like I would say, the government can reach out to the Dr. Tourés of the world. And he's doing a fantastic job. And the people are working, the people are farming. And they talk of how many acres of land. Like I say, I remember when they pull, Mr. Umar talk on Pamine. When they pull red Pamine na migranin tongue, we get big yard. Now the parking ground there, now we yard them people, then they come, then they can't store the Pamine by drums. Every day, then they come for the week. Everybody, different people where they sell now. We yard, then they can't keep them Pamine most of the time. All that parking ground area, they no say them Pamine. They talk about red Pamine. Where you go so you make and so you smell the freshness of the Pamine where they don't mix with nothing. And the Pamine gets every part for the Pamine, even to the one where they throw in a ground. Then they sell land to their woman, they would make soda soap. They use it to make soap. That masanke Pamine, that dirty Pamine, we don't wait in the call. They use them for make ground soap, how they call it soda soap. They use it to do all those things. People buy, you know, but where did we go wrong? Usa, we lose the interest. Usa, it is very sad for see people going without, especially little children. Little children going without food. We're the one that where we the way and call the children are eating the best of everything. And they're not even thinking, say, how we gonna do. Yes, government's not going to do all things, but they can provide things them. We're gonna make it easier for little people, incentives. Here, farmers are middle class in America. The government provide incentives. They give farmers incentives for keep growing because they get for feed we. They get for feed we. We get local farmers. We get farmers market. We get side them where people and they buy and sell and exchange them goods. We get farmers and they can and put them in there, waiting they don't make nothing small, then get money for let them able to keep their life going. That's the sad part. How we go do this? How we go do this? I pass back to una gentlemen, una take them from there because this is tormenting. Where picking and they go without food, picking and they go sleep angry. 1 month or something, 1 month all day. I remember 1 year I go Freetown. That and then that black plastic bag. People go to SLRA. When they say SLRA, then they go to SLRA. The where people then they left, where then they eat, where they not want. The picking and they pick and they turn inside the bag. That is what they take home. Then mama they go put on a fire, steamer, I put more salt and waiting and cold. Then that then they eat. That's what I was told. And I was like, are you for real? I don't one day see this kind of porn in my life. I don't one day see this kind of poor where salon people they don't poor. They would not reach to that point there where people and they go get a where lunch and a dog with a give where for eat. Or maybe some small picking at the yard and go and eat you. Where they got the lay mama left 1, 2, 3 spoon for let they eat her. Or stranger left 1, 2, 3 spoon. But come on. Come on. We can do better than this, man. We can do better than this. Gentlemen, take it on. We can do better.
Well, the way we see them, if you notice, all with problems, don't highlight so. It seems like we know things in a problem until the World Health Organization or the United Nations or UNESCO or one of the international organizations that tell you, say, hey, when I get a problem, hey, when I need to address this, we don't even seem to forget this common concern to figure out what's in our problem. Because everything we seem to be attending to, even the so-called cyber law, we didn't just pass, that we need the list. Because with all what you outlined, so is cyber law of such importance for we own country? Cyber law may be that important for the big ones, them, America, and other countries, but like I say, because cyber law aim for control hacking, international white-collar crimes like hacking banks and stealing money for terrible things. Now, what sophistication, we pass a little bit, but what sophistication do we have to avert or prevent in cyber crimes? I don't think we have any. We're getting in the big boys league where we now get the qualification and the training and the equipment for go into intermediate league. It's almost like I like compare football. You did middle school, you didn't have the football team, you say you know enough for go na Super Bowl. One bank no more than bank you, then will kill you, you go paralyzed. We did try for going at the big league, USA, America, Russia, China, the day. Nothing wrong with that for aspire to that level there. But now we master the lily where we get so at this stage. Before we take the next step and the next step. When they talk about cyber laws, I mean, it sounds impressive. But are we able to stop if China, for example, one swing the next election, Sierra Leone, or one undermine the process to another government of them choosing? Then you use cyber technology for do that. We'll get the know-how for prevent that. You know, we're way out of the league. Then issues here, the bread and butter issues we will talk about, is what we should be preoccupied with. Because now we concerned the INA for B. When we get INA mastered, then we can take the next step and the next step. But this is the same attitude we had when we were going into independence. With arrogance. We in a black man who can rule ourselves, which man and think by themselves. I don't repeat this statement. I was in Bo, 1961, Coronation Field, where we get to independence. I remember the song we used to sing. Then we all. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom. And before I be your slave, I will bury in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Now, with a black man, we can rule with self. We really believe that. Which man say, okay, would I get a lot more for Lano, but if I say, and when I want for rule and I say here, then give it. It's like when somebody say I know the road for go Kenema, where you didn't have free tongue. You did right na Shaka Stephen Street. The person they say, hey, but I go say you know how for go and Kenema from here. The other day, where we say go Kenema, you put road for go York. Now I know my way. They say, okay, look the steering. Then give you the motorcar now. You head to Lungi or some other place. Then give we government, what you would do? We'll just turn right around, do the complete opposite to the land we to 60 years of backwardness. And we're still doing the same thing. We not learn nothing. We want to do what in the big boys than to do, which we can do. May I remind people also that we don't get independence 60 years. When we get independence, Dubai, all the United Arab Emirates countries there, Tagron self the nugget. Motorcar they hardly have. Now camel let me the ride. Well, we get everything. We get plane, we get bus, we get this, we get that. Now see who side and they see who side we there. Leadership matters. Vision matters. And these are the things we're lacking. Not a degree for being professor this, professor that. Dubai, they not be the brag about professor that, professor this. But they know they get a visionary leader. We see a future for the country who was able to bring the educated people in together and say, let me plan this, let's move forward. That's why we're so far behind, they are so far ahead. So history does show we say it can be done. We can rise, but it takes good leadership and vision. And this is now a problem we may see in our country today. Because if we are struggling for basic food, for putting a table, if you pay somebody less than $50 a month in a country in this day and age, and this is no exaggeration, over 60% of Australians' population earn less than $50 a month. And again, let me not go far. Now, recently, was it not in April? No, in May, when there was this protest at Connaught Hospital, where the workers and say some of them don't go for 4 or 5 months, they don't get paid. How did the government decide to deal with that problem there? First, you get a minister where you go knock a doctor because the doctor to take video, and the other minister they senseless they say, oh, in a doctor, in a journalist, you're not getting no right for take video of the activities. Then the minister then they get paid, and it's a permanent secretary of Ministry of Health. They not lost 1 month pay. When at the low level people and don't go for months, they don't get paid. How can you run a country that way? I mean, so these guys don't even have conscience. But the last thing I want to say, what gets me, I keep saying this and I will say it till the day I die. The vast majority of people that would run government today, they don't come from middle class family, they come from extreme poverty. It's not like these guys don't know what poverty means. They know, because of the background one day. But they've turned their backs completely because now they are the Agbagbas. Now they get the power. And their thing is to hell with the one that would suffer. If they make it like we, so be it. But this is the wrong attitude. Una way come from that background day. Una way come from that humble background day. Una papa na be motor apprentice. Una papa na be tailors. Una mama na be petty traders them. Una papa na be petty farmers there. Now una forget more understanding of the current situation. And una they show total lack of understanding of what in the happen in the country. I mean, it borders on cruelty. I don't care what anybody tell me. These guys are just flat out cruel. And you can do all these things and do all this good, and still, because Creole man say, you know, go feed picking, you know, lick your hand. You can do all that and still lick your hand. But you know, go eat all the food, the pickle you for feed, you don't get nothing. You know, and this is what's happen in the country. You know, all the money that they come in, with the divert them, we know they put them into the use for which. And somebody opposed me the last time at this show, one of the group I say, the international agencies, they know with tendencies, and this is how they control us. They give you the money, they don't say we're not going to spend it right. But now they wait down and then they get we for allow them for coming. We go ahead and give we won't let them come. So there's so much going on. It's a sad story. It's a sad story. We just need
It's a sad story,
people who care. We need people who care. We have not seen it, and this has nothing to do with SAPP. It has nothing to do with APC. It has nothing to do with C4C. These guys, they recycle politicians here. They are just terrible people. I don't care which party they label themselves as. So anybody who fool themselves and think, say, if you belong to APC, you belong to this and that, you have grossly mistaken. These guys are one and the same. So then the future is bleak, but you get for fight the fight, you get for fight a good fight. Because we just cannot left them issues here undiscussed, just make the chips fall where they may. No. People have to highlight them. At some point, it will all come together.
Yeah, it will all come at one point, some point. One day, we all the hope. One day, we all the talk. That's why we're sitting here at the Voice of Salone. With a talk on the issues, with a bring onto their attention. Then they know, but it takes, you get to touch the conscience of these people. Because these people, sometimes they act like they don't get conscience. They act like they don't care. They act and they forget who side and come out. And they forget the suffering of the people that put them in power. And that's why we get for, I always can say this is the battle of the minds, because the people that put them in power are the ones that are suffering. But yet, they can forget where they can blindfolded with that moment gratification of, okay, when I had this, I give you this, I give you this, then they forget of all the other suffering where they don't, then go vote back, then the suffering continues, the struggle continues. We will rise indeed, we go rise, and we lifetime, we will see Salone don't begin for change. In we lifetime, we pray, God bless we all with long, healthy life, for long we able to see that day where we go into the direction, where we bring that change, where we truly deserve, where people then go able them the basics of life, at least the basics, where we will build the communities again, because bit by bit, block by block, we don't shatter all. Then what's in and call them. Some people not can understand. We know we will not bring back the old days. We know the old days will never come back in that way where we be known. We know you are speaking a new language. This is not 2021, but at the same time, we get for refer. So we're going to have a reference for how we build a better Sierra Leone for the future. And it is the hands, the young people, because we don't all now, we they give no more the blessing and with the sound of, but the young ones, because that is your future. Now in a country, now when I get forget the change, now when I get for want the change, now when I get for if you want anything where you want, you they see them because you believe in them, you move towards it, it will come to pass. Me, I believe that day. Anything where you want, how you make yourself for gonna our journal, so then go give you a pot for us. You know, how you make yourself, now so people go take you. How you make yourself, now so the world go buy you. Professor, you know, you Mr. Shilon. And we are from the whole old school, and people they not can understand why we talk the way we talk, because we get waiting for refer to, we get waiting for go back to, we get good times. Yes, we're not going to come back to those times. Yes, we don't understand the language of the young and things that they do, but it is our thing. We get for go there and understand, and let ourselves understand with language. Let we take the country Usai for go, because we are all part of this together. The mission here is Sierra Leone. People are hungry. People are starving. How for fix the problem? You talk with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but if you don't be Chief Minister, so you get influence in this government, Professor. And I hear you talk of things the way he do and say, and then you talk on the shift. You know, they're all responsible, you know, for bring the change. They all promise us the change, and we don't see small thing there where you say it do and how then they do. And one of the things them where the diaspora, then we get a voice. We self get for able to participate in the democracy of freedom, Sierra Leone. We self get for be able for vote. Let we vote count. We self get for this to seem business. Did you talk to this man? Because we the diaspora, them we kind of bolder, a little bit bolder than the one that we're on the ground, because there are repercussions, there are things that will happen to people on the ground than we waiting at the diaspora. So we're a little bit more vocal, and we want a voice. What was the message? I mean, what's in the message this man talk on us, the diaspora, because we contribute to the economy of Sierra Leone. We contribute to the people of Sierra Leone, because the hunger for me was past this. We don't turn Somalia by now. We don't dry like the people there. So, you know, go ahead, sir, Professor. What's in the minister to talk on this? Because we want get right for vote. We want for able, they oversight. We're not going to pay $2,000-$3,000 for go free talk, for go vote, cast your vote, and come back on election day. We should have the rights we as Sierra Leoneans to vote. What's in the minister to talk on that? Because we're talking of paradigm shift, all that included that, Mr. Waiting they talk about that. Give me small thing, but waiting happen, then we'll go close for.
Well, what you say, for too long we don't need on the paradigm, so we need to now go to the shift. So the shift here is here for start with the attitude, mentality, and perception. Now that a new age, for the very first time, the other way they talk so we visionary leadership, not since independence, that now we can't get diplomacy, that now we can't get foreign service, we will diplomats then. All this before not happen from 1961. Ghana and Nigeria get her, but now we can't get her. It's about that. And maybe could not get, we talk about diplomats, and we not get diplomats, and they fly by guys, they will be European because you're not a party member or you're not the president, and all them saying. So the fact of the matter, we have to ask ourselves now, where do we see ourselves? We want to remain a beggar nation all till we hand it out. The Palbenko, all till out there, we just receive, we all to get. Where this we and the technicians and whether we doctors and whether we, people that who said, how would in a salon get 7 rivers in a salon, but then water shortage triangular? What we engineers them, where are they? Who said, what's not the plan for next year? But like Mr. Shilo said, the problem is Salone and lack of visionary leadership in Salone. Everybody want we cannot be wrong the parliament, a minister, a diplomat, a man who can so even when not to look like Dr. Now that make Dr. Ronald Ture continues for me your role model. Dr. Ronald Ture continues for me the example we look up to. The man, even Sidona McKinney at the outskirts of McKinney, they are so. Where they don't go there, and they go call violence, trouble, and they say, no. Dr. Ture said, no, you take responsibility for yourself. These are all these are the shifts, this now in paradigm, now they look at. You don't care they go under, they do all kind of things. All kinds of things. The folks that were there, they're not the complaints they handle because food they are around in abundance. But they will not affect on the market that they will sleep. That they will say, they can't go do this. So, for wrap up, me part of this discussion is going to be this. We get for changing attitude, we get for changing mentality. We also get for take responsibility for ourselves. We cannot keep blaming the government. Like we when you say when they put Bible say, Peking will say, and they call up Lambu, Katana will be headmaster. When we don't say that kind of a category, they could not blame government because government not in terms of one book. The only one we are able now are able to do. So we're going to stop blaming ourselves. We're going to stop blaming. So I will end up by saying one of the first lawyer then that Salone, a Kihano will just say, well, so you don't pass away. Then of course you say and Lafudeli and Rachidu Thomas. Now Lafudeli said that yesterday, as a matter of fact, I make a tribute to her. Then say now of you if I didn't I make it today. That man because he talk to the big man for visa. I make again visa. We through that this world Sabah, we don't appreciate people there. We talk good about people who don't help me. And this world we know they see God. What thing God is send somebody for let him do it. So what you need to appreciate Mr. Shilon. When you appreciate Mr. Shilon, you tell her, take you bless her, then you come to God. Because you know they see God. You don't see Mr. Shilon, but you know they see God. And you know, and the Christian, they say, we walk by faith and not by sight. So the one we see so like him, you want to call her. So we want to thank you for me. Today was a very good day. And then again, the paradigm, I mean, the shift when the man say no, do not come up and paradigm. We not viewers that we do now. We did not shift to the do. We bring good information to people there. We learn for the awareness. We make them know say salon and they get up if they point salon, they pull out the work and they cut the cable they need on ourselves that they do. Not to the leader, they're not to the political leaders and on ourselves that they do. Because the leader they sleep now. When they say you are cool and pass man free, then they drink cool water. They get light every now and then. When the darkness, but when you call that light and then people that you don't bring a lot of havoc there. So we are not embracing by changing the attitude, the mentality, perception, and above all, be a nation of laws. Because the only thing will save we. Nobody know the country America. The reason why America is so, not to the White House, not to the Air Force One, not to the witnesses and that document. Over 200 years, where everybody decided for submit under that document, the rule of law, the document. Nobody above that document. Everybody they under that document. So that's what we say we do. Because everything for me, let people know is still angry. But mismanagement, because lack of law and order. So thank you very much, man, for the opportunity.
Yeah. Before we go, I want to go more small, quick. I see one of the viewers make a comment. We're very, very important about this land issue. Say Creole for buy land upline. Okay. I think where them been come, we waiting at the problem. Why make them put that law? They was when the protectorates them in there, where the free slaves then come back, the colonial masters buy free tongue and give them, but where them come back some educated and get all this knowledge. So them they try for preserve them, protectorate them, lay the Creole they not go take over the land because then get all the power, then get all the book, now they be the land the book and all. And so they say Creole, this law we say Creole no for buy land upline. Now free tongue no more they own they for buy land because it was bought for them. It was bought for I think King Tom or whatever the story go where they buy the land from the people them waving Pademba or something. Where they buy the land. Okay, when they don't buy the land for the Creole them now in a free tongue. So all that peninsula really belong to the Creole and they be buy them for let the Creole and can settle. But then Mr. Victor writes a comment, and please put it up for me again. He writes a comment say, I wanted to buy a farmland in a village in McKinney. During negotiations, they found out I am a Creole. The negotiation stalled. I was asked to go and get a special clearance from the government. I went and spoke to somebody who told me I can buy the land under his name and he will own 30% of my business. I just walked away. This is Sierra Leonean, but you don't get access to upline because of colonial masters. We make this rule and 30 day. I know say like people like IC Bull and the Creole descendants and them they try for fetch this lawyer professor to you. I pass Mr. Shilon. What do you think about this? You as Sierra Leonean cannot go buy land upline, but the upline people then they fetch and kill themselves for the land of Freetown where them they don't give to the Creole them. What do you think about that? Is that fair? Is that right? Is that justice? Is that I don't know. When I talk about lawyer. Mr. Shilon first.
The lawyer.
I don't hear you.
Unmute. You need for unmute.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I think you have to do the country any good. Because instead of we get leadership, we would think wide and beyond the horizon. What we are doing is letting ourselves be governed by narrow-mindedness. If it was reasonable during colonial days, based upon what facts were available to them at the time, for restrict the registration of land to the western area and not beyond? Can't we just find among, because this is one of the problems, we're not resourceful, we're not creative. We cannot even look at, we will only begin to decide, say, okay, the laws should change when maybe the UN or them international organization begin to deal with that. We cannot look at real economic circumstance. And besides, forget the equality, forget the fact that Creoles are part of the country. But from an economic standpoint, don't they think it's a wise idea if somebody gets the vision and the money or the means or the connection? Say, if a Creole man go open a factory or go hire 5,000 people, whether a true connection or you actually get the wealth. Are people telling me just because it's a Creole, rather for those people not to be employed up country, and would they complain, say, there is Freetown is overpopulated, but people are not going back. People are not going back unless and until there is a reason, which is mainly economics, to take them back. I guarantee you, when I was growing up, there are a lot of people who wanted a job in the SLST. Then, when the Pashaki changed to Daminco, people with the left Freetown go for a job, the forest industry, like Kenema, and people were going to Tongo Field and Panguma, then present day, for working at Panguma sawmill, and on and on and on. Develop the economy, people will relocate. You know, because people go where there is economic progress and stability, where they see a future. You know, so I think, say, if we go begin for talk some serious talk about railroad, east-west, not south, railroad, Grand Central Station somewhere. So we go begin for get easy access from east to west. You know, where you go come out Suntende, you come out Kwendu, when I bought that town, Nakalau district, come Freetown, maybe on the train, and be able to turn around and go back. Then we'll go begin for improve the economy. The reason why the 50s and the 60s were so successful, business-wise, people were able to transport them plantain and cocoa and cacao and coffee by rail. You know, the Creoles were living Freetown, going all the way Kalau district for buy petite, cocoa, plantain, for bring down to bring. You see, but all these things we don't abandon. We don't think about ambitious thing. We rather want to talk about spending $2 billion to do a bridge to nowhere, technically, instead of that $2 billion day, 1/4 of that could put railroad from east to west, north to south. And so that ambitious, big thinking of the future. And let me remind people again, this is what really sometimes can puzzle me. People don't realize that Sierra Leone is part of the world. Everything I've read, Sierra Leone is part of this world to stay. As long as the dunya or the world continue to exist, which I predict will be in the next thousands of years, Sierra Leone will exist. So it's up to us if we want to run Sierra Leone, like for say, again, 30 more years left for SALONE, so government will take all the land, we will chief all the money. We're not worried about the generation that will go born 10 years from now, I mean, in 10,000 years from now. Because it seems like that's what we will not care. We just don't, we're not even worried with the talk like for say, we'll get this list with God, will they die? I know this is now we're the last generation. So get all the money where you can get all the wealth. Make all the bad
Let's talk not go down today, Mr. Shilon. We'll go talk about her next week because
I agree.
We time don't bet we will continue with this conversation next week. Why make the Creole enough for buy land upline? And then I've been Victor Daughtry, I've not been calling him Mr. Victor Daughtry. Now he make that comment, they say they try for buy land. We'll get for talk about their issue then day because those are the things that are affecting, just like I say, growth, you know, kind of whatever. Then a long term for being protect. But now if upline people and they can buy land na Freetown, when are they Creole then they be don't assign and to, then why make then safe enough for able to go buy land upline for open the country out? Professor, to you, your last words on that, and what do you think, sir?
Well, I will continue to ask everybody for make viewers the home away from home. No, the bring issue there. So the hope is we leaders and listen to it because we are part of the, we are part of SALONE, the geography divided. We also get ideas. We contribute towards the economic well-being of that place because every day SALONE has the same money in the new business. So if you not, if you not be interested in SALONE, not be one day, then we will not go do that also. Now get even some of the sisters at SALONE say now, we want to begin fly the green, white, and blue flag in the offices in America. So one in South Carolina and North Carolina, one in America, where today Miss Basa for announced. So all this are the efforts for local go SALONE. But we now by God power, we go there for the project setting a so. Now we will contribution this will make, towards the economic and political advancement of the country. Putting out ideas and encourage you, brothers and sisters, they come share and we experience and the advice for the all begin look at SALONE, even as we look at from the party lenses, but also look at the overall how they call that within the green, white, and blue, look at it. So again, I stress the minister in word. So we come on now from the paradigm, we go to the shift. And the shift there, we attitude, we mentality, we perception, and making sure say the thing will get SALONE before now. So I want to thank you very much. I want to thank we distinguished attorney very much. He helped me a lot to the law firm. And Madam Fadima, I want to thank you very much for being a gracious host. Let God make you come back again there. How can I ask you to see me like a man guy? Let God go with that. Alhamdulillah. So I pass over back to you.
Well, so I'm not gonna say again for say them don't bet we don't come na 3 hours now, we don't una thank you. I can always say una thank you without the voice of Sierra Leone will not be because we don't day over 2-3 years now. Voice of Sierra Leone has been going strong because of people like you. Una come every week. God bless una all. God bless we all. Some people don't believe in God too much again, no more. They don't give up. But there's a supreme being, whatever you call it, that's on you. Whether you call him Musha, you call him I, you call him Nayon. I cannot judge. I cannot say which one are right. Everybody believes in you're not right. But there's a supreme power, there's a supreme being that is greater than all of us, that holds us all together. And we try for seek the greatest energy, we'll go put positivity out. And that's what we're trying to do. Let God bless we all. Let we always look in every rain, there's a rainbow. In every dark cloud, let we find a star in there. There's always a star somewhere. So like I can always say, but it's shine today, not jealous me, go walk on your own. Tomorrow, the cloud go over me, the sun over to next week. By God's grace, we go come back again and we go talk on issues. I love you all. Remember, God is love. Good night, good morning. God bless we all. And God bless Sierra Leone. God bless our leaders. And God bless everyone. I love you all. Go make a difference. Good night, Fadima. I'm out. Salute. Thank you.